What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9ts Chapter 161 The Heaven-Defying Steel. Otsutsuki Hagoromo. I'm a fool, really. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement in the sky, in front of the golden list, a three-dimensional image is suspended and diligent. It was a hockey figure wearing a black tight combat uniform with red layered armor on the outside, and now wearing a Konoha forehead on his head, with a sickle and a flame fan hanging behind his back. Not the ninja Shira, who is as famous as the god of ninja world. Who else could it be? Mad hot. With his hands around, Hashirama slammed the table and shouted at Uchiha Madara. You actually made the list behind my back, do you want to secretly surpass me? The answer to Huisho Hashirama was Uchiha Madara's speechless squint, paired with a single word, go away. Madara is hot, you. Pei hand Hashirama pointed at Uchiha Madara with a finger, with a very hurt expression. But before he could say anything, Madara said a little speechlessly. I have a Uchiha fan, don't you know that I can be on the list once? Difficulty Hashirama. Ahaha, yes, I already knew. Huisho Hashirama touched the back of his head. The crowd collapsed immediately. Is it really good to be like this in front of the whole ninja world? At this moment, the image in the sky changed, the special effects resumed, and a huge streamer came from the sky and fell in front of Uchiha Ran, turning into a stone tablet. Tombstone? Uchiha Madara was stunned for a moment. Many people were astonished. Uchiha Ran's eyes lit up. At this time, the stereoscopic image turned into a streamer and injected into the list, and the ranking information was updated. The 23rd place. Biography, 267, Chengshi Steel, which can collect and seal any records of ninjutsu, taishu, genjutsu, pupil, etc. by injecting chakra, and later generations will inject chakra, satisfy the conditions to instantly comprehend ninjutsu. Owner. Uchiha Madara. Heritage Stone. What is that? Uchiha Madara, who is the client, has some feelings. But looking at the steel in the stereoscopic image, he always felt a little familiar. It's the Uchiha monument. Uchiha Madara suddenly reacted. After returning to Konoha, he naturally lived in the Uchiha clan. Due to the excessive suppression of the smart hand Tobirama and the strategy and Konoha F4, although the Uchiha tribe has a good environment and covers an extremely wide area, it is located on the edge of the village. So after so many years, it still hasn't been taken away. Of course, it could also be the scruples that Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Itachi are still alive. So now some of the elites of the Uchiha clan have been resurrected one after another, and there is no shortage of places to live. Madara lived in the clan's ancestral hall with grandeur, and took away the stone tablet passed down from generation to generation by Uchiha. In fact, he originally wanted to destroy the stone tablet. After all, the steel was tampered with by Black Zetsu, who deceived him Uchiha Madara. But even if he used the strongest blow of Susanoo's Janshin, he still couldn't destroy the stone tablet. In desperation, he had no choice but to give up the idea of destroying, and instead carried the stone tablet with him, thinking that it would be good to use Hashirama as a brick smasher in the future. Never thought, now unexpectedly on the list. Boom. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara summoned the steel stored in the different space and sighed unexpectedly. I didn't expect this thing to be on the list. The reward for prostitution once on the list is cool. But he was happy, and Uchiha Sasuke, who was far away in the team, was unhappy. Damn it, this steel was supposed to belong to me. The ancestors want to take it, we can just grab it, said Uchiha Fugaku. Can't take it either, Sasuke, don't rely too much on foreign objects. Uchiha Itachi said in a serious tone. Got it, Nissan? Uchiha Sasuke's tsundere pouted. Uchiha Mikoto watched this scene and smiled gently. Such a harmonious scene, even before the extermination of the clan, was unthinkable. After all, Uchiha Fugaku has a village in his heart, but as the head of the family, he is responsible to the family. And Uchiha Itachi became a double agent, swaying his position. And Sasuke is too young to understand anything, and Fugaku will be dissatisfied. But now, the Uchiha family will no longer have such worries. Thanks to Dai-sama, Mikoto was secretly grateful. Iron Country. Mad hot. Wrapping his hand, Hashirama slapped the table again, and glared at Uchiha Madara. It's not a flame fan, it's some kind of heritage stone tablet, you're on the list behind my back. Shut up for me. Uchiha Madara scolded impatiently. You can rely on Wuzhong Luosheng to accidentally be on the list, but you won't allow me to accidentally be on the list? You. How dare you lose your temper at me? Huisho Hashirama felt wronged. Obviously, Uchiha Madara also yelled at him when he unexpectedly made the list. I still regret it myself. Uchiha Madara was too lazy to pay attention to the difficult Hashirama, and beckoned to Uchiha Ran. Ran, come and see what's going on with this stone tablet, inheritance stone tablet, 93. Ran had been interested long ago, performed the instant body technique, came to the stone tablet, put his hand on it, and poured it into Zara. This injection is like a mud cow entering the sea, and there is no news. However, through the observation of Mangekyo, the reincarnation eye, it can be found that the stone tablet has actually become hard, and the ability is also stored in it, indicating that the text left by Sage of Six Paths and then tampered with by Black Zetsu is also somewhat clear. Apparently, the steel can devour Zarila to consolidate. Is the power bank charged? injecting chara to inherit ninjutsu and more. Uchiha Ran touched his eyes and injected chara again, but he was thinking about the various uses and distributions of the rough bird and the rough bird in his mind. The next moment, his consciousness was actually connected to a special space. In this space, as long as someone injects chara into it, they can enter, and they can learn the rough bird and rough bird flow under the professor of the stone tablet. Interesting. Uchiha Ran finds it interesting looking at the professor image of the space itself. Lord Madara, you try to inject Shirara now. Uchiha Ran gave Madara a look. Okay. Uchiha Madara did so. The next moment, he felt the existence of a strange space. Advertisement consciousness link. Uchiha Ran's image shrews began to teach Raku and other derivatives ninjutsu to use and distribute. Uchiha Madara was originally around the sky, but he felt that his comprehension ability in this space had improved again, and soon he mastered the key points and could use the rough bird. Rough bird. Uchiha Madara held her hands to dry, and a purple thunder and lightning appeared with the chorus of rough birds. This scene shocked everyone. Difficult bird is an ill-level ninjutsu created by copy ninja Kakashi. Even if there are 3 Tomo Sharingan, it is impossible to learn it by copying. Will Uchiha Madara actually hold the heritage stone tablet and hang it to dry? Interesting. Uchiha Madara felt amused. Uchiha Ran touched his chin and injected chakra toward the stone tablet again. But this time, he is adding conditions. Under what conditions? Enter the rough bird space to learn the conditions of difficult birds. In order to enter this space in the future, it is not necessary to inject chara like Uchiha Ran, but to meet one or all of the conditions. I left the flying thunder god technique again. Lord Madara, try it again. Uchiha Ran laughed. Oh, flying Thor. Uchiha Madara instantly became interested and injected Zara again. What? 2 figures suddenly appeared in the conference hall. It's Tobirama and 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. The information released by Jinbang. Uchiha Madara learned the situation of rough birds in seconds. Let them guess what. And if Madara can learn the technique of flying thunder god in seconds. That's a big deal. Okay. To their surprise, this time Uchiha Madara frowned. After a while, Madara said a little aggrievedly. You added a barrier to this inheritance? It's not an enchantment, it's a test or a condition. Uchiha Ran shook his head, then held his right hand idly, using the yin-yang style technique to create a token and throw it to Uchiha Madara 0. Try holding this token. Uchiha Madara did so immediately. The next moment, his consciousness came to a new different dimension, and there was another image of Uchiha Ran in it, but this time the technique of flying thunder god was taught, from perception to imprint depiction, etc. All believed in the introduction. Uchiha Madara learns immediately. What the outsiders saw was that the luster on the surface of the stone tablet began to dim. The whole process lasted 10 seconds. Soon, Uchiha Madara withdrew his hand and said with a bright smile, I have learned the art of flying thunder gods, 99. As he said that, he also painted the imprint on the spot and displayed it. Break. The audience was shocked. No, it was the shock of the entire ninja world. What's up with this tombstone? Advertisement, 5th generation, this steel. Tobirama shook his rough hand. That's what you understand. Uchiha Ran held his chin and analyzed. If you are a master of ninjutsu, as long as you inject chakra while thinking about how to cast ninjutsu, there will be inheritance in the stone tablet. If there are no restrictions, anyone who injects chakra can get in touch with the inheritance and learn, just like Madara learned the rough bird. Of course, chara's attributes are wrong, and I will definitely not learn it. And if there are restrictions, you need to meet the conditions to be able to contact the inheritance and learn, just like Madara holding the yin-yang Dao token I gave, you can learn the technique of flying thunder gods. Of course, if Madara doesn't have a talent for space, he certainly won't be able to learn it. This steel can record any ninjutsu, pupil art, etc., without exceeding the upper limit of age, and then anyone can learn it instantly if the qualifications meet the standard. The premise is that the energy in the steel is sufficient. You have also seen Madara master the technique of flying thunder gods, and the luster of the steel is dim to the naked eye. If ordinary people come, they may not be able to teach it even if the energy of the steel is exhausted. But if I come here every day, I estimate that I can learn the technique of flying thunder god faster than Madara, and consume less energy. And if the inheritance has conditions, it needs to meet the conditions and be able to learn. Uchiha Ran shared the information he had summarized. Bigger will understand. Anyone can record any ninjutsu, etc. on the steel, and anyone can master. But there are preconditions. 1. The stone tablet has enough energy. 2. The successor itself has this talent, such as the 1.5 number of exclusive people in the blood and the limit, and the Uchiha pupil technique, which is definitely an exclusive inheritance, and the energy required for different levels of talent is different. 3. If the recorded ninjutsu is blessed with conditions, the conditions must be met to begin accepting the inheritance. Nice one. Difficulty Tobirama praised. In this way, as long as the professors who are supplemented with chara and tolerance are given regularly, no manpower is required, and the efficiency can be maximized. And if all the inheritances are recorded by Ranboy, no one can forcibly break through the inheritance barrier. Powerful ninjutsu, as long as the merit arrives, it can naturally be obtained from the inheritance stone tablet. Rough hand Tobirama's mind was spinning fast, and he immediately thought of the best way to use the stone tablet. Uchiha Madara pouted softly. This stone tablet belongs to him. But he didn't say it, because he knew that this stone tablet could not be kept. Or from Uchiha Ran's side to write meritorious points, you can naturally exchange for all kinds of good things in the future. At this time, Uchiha Ran smiled and said, "You seem to have forgotten that Jinbang will improve the quality of weapons. The benefits don't stop there, in the pure land space." Otsutsuki Hamura patted his brother on the shoulder. Otsutsuki Hagoromo. "There are treasure mountains in the air, but I don't know. I was a fool. Knowing that this thing is so useful, where do you need to create a ninja sect to accept disciples?" Stupid. Chapter 162. The seal necklace is another mystery. Sasori of Red Sands accidental listing. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement, weapon reward. 1. The quality of inheritance has increased, and it can record the art of blood and snares, and can record various spells of the 6 paths level reincarnation eye and immortal body. 2. It has the characteristics of the seed of the god tree, which can automatically absorb the free natural energy and convert it into chara. 3. The scope of action becomes larger. The owner can place the stone tablet color somewhere to open the inheritance enchantment. The enchantment covers a radius of 100 meters, and those who enter the enchantment can accept the inheritance. Owner rewards options. 1. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan perfectly blends and increases the power of Yang style. 2. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan evolves into a reincarnation eye and blends perfectly. On the Ninja World Gold list, the weapon list, the reward information after the ranking has been updated. The inheritance stone tablet is rewarded, which can improve the effect of 3 aspects. First, the quality of inheritance has improved. Originally, it was limited to recording the 6 paths level ninjutsu and the secret art, as well as a series of stone tablets of ninjutsu body art genjutsu. Now even the 6 paths level ninjutsu and the blood-stalking ability can be recorded. If this ability is used well, Uchiha Ran and Otsutsuki Kagaya will be able to fully master each other's abilities within a few days and increase their own means. Uchiha Madara and Wisdom Hashirama can also increase their means very quickly. The second effect is that the seed of the god tree automatically absorbs natural energy, which means that even if the chakra is artificially input, the stone tablet can automatically replenish its ability, changing from a power bank to a power bank that can generate electricity by itself. The third ability is to improve the inheritance efficiency of the steel, otherwise everyone needs to touch it to be inherited, and a few more people will have to line up. In general, the rewards given by this inlaid gold list are very useful. I will accept this steel, and when O3 gathers all ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, secretaries, blood secretary boundaries, etc. in the world, I will give merits according to their contributions. 39. Using meritorious deeds, it is possible to inherit and learn any ninjutsu of equal value and so on in the steel. Before that, I would learn everything first, and then inject it myself. Then unless someone can surpass me in strength, they must be qualified to inherit the inheritance. Uchiha Ran took the evolved heritage steel in his hand. For this, Uchiha Madara has no opinion. He believed that Uchiha Ran would not treat him badly in terms of meritorious deeds. At that time, he could quickly master some 6 paths level secret arts and increase his strength very quickly. Putting a stone tablet in his hand can only be used as a brick. After all, he perfectly has the idea of forming a force. In comparison, he pays more attention to the improvement of his own combat power. I choose. Uchiha Madara received the reward for the lister. Jinbang shot a ray of light. The moment he was bathed in light, Uchiha Madara felt the tiny gap between himself and his eyes disappear. Once opened the Eye of Reincarnation and summoned the pupil power of Diligent Geto statue, so that he could easily open the Eye of Reincarnation, but in the end he was stuck on the Eternal Mangekyo because of this isolation. Advertisement. Even if the power of his vagina can be improved again in the future, and the power of Yang Dao can also be improved to stimulate the evolution of the Reincarnation Eye, the estrangement will still exist. It's the unfamiliar feeling on a deep genetic level. Usually I don't feel anything, but if you fight against the strong, this will become a fatal gap. But now, this hidden danger is gone. At the same time, Uchiha Madara felt her own cells were excited, and the powerful Yang energy was being injected. He didn't hesitate, clapped his hands. Yang Seal, release. 9. Yang Seal, learned from Uchiha Ran's special seal that stores the power of Yang Dao. With the relationship between Madara and the Hashirama family, it is not difficult to learn 100 healings mark from Uzumaki Mito, so Uchiha Ran did this favor. Uchiha Madara has also accumulated a lot of power recently, and plans to wait until a certain degree of opportunity to have a difficult physical constitution. The sacrificial offerings that Black Zetsu used to resurrect him with reincarnation contained Sugarhand Hashirama cells, the power of Yang Dao, and the boundaries of wood style, so this lesson is not difficult. And now to get the gift of the golden list, it is just one step. Advanced. Uchiha Madara let go of his hand, grinning with dissatisfaction. After all, the accumulation time is too short, and the physical development has reached the advanced level, which is still a long way from the immortal body. Fortunately, his forte is fairy eyes, reincarnation eye. Uchiha Madara's eyes narrowed, and the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan suddenly turned around, and finally turned into a pair of purple reincarnation eyes. Madara, I didn't expect that the reincarnation eye really evolved from you, so handsome. Hashirama, the rough hand, leaned forward and said. Uchiha Madara pouted and said coldly, you don't have a fairy body now. The immortal body can only use ninjutsu. You can continue to show it when you fight. With your eyes of reincarnation, it will be very deterrent when you open it. Wisdom Hashirama's voice was full of envy. Uchiha Madara rolled his eyes. Come on, I have a high-level physique in the winding hand now, and I don't know when I will be able to reach the top. After that, I need to learn Sage Mode and slowly adapt, and then I can awaken the fairy body. And you have a fairy body, and the 3 Tomo Sharingan also evolves into Mangekyo, and soon there is a chance to have reincarnation eyes. The reincarnation eye is functionally stronger than the celestial body. But the immortal human body was originally based on the foundation, and the eyes of reincarnation were good. Mada, do you want to fight? Peisho Hashirama asked excitedly. There was a flash in Uchiha Madara's eyes, but finally he waved his hand. I'm not interested, I'll talk about it after a while. If he fights now, the probability of him losing is 60%. The police see that Hashirama succeeded Mangekyo Sharingan, but with the blessing of the immortal body, Susanoo can also open to the complete body, and if he supports Sage Jutsu. Even if he has the blessing of pupil technique, he may be more beautiful in the early stage, but it will not last longer. Okay. Hearing Hashirama felt a pity, but those who watched the live broadcast breathed a sigh of relief. The dozen of you, casually, are all landslides and fissures, changing the landscape. Ordinary people, who can stand it? Advertisement, boom. The bell of the golden list continued to ring at this time. A stereoscopic image emerges. It is a difficult Tsunade who has become completely young. Hey, what can I do to make the list? Tsunade, who is the client, has some feelings. The corners of the mouths of Terumi Mei and the others twitched. This is the third one. Why, you, Konoha, occupy the list without knowing what you have to be on the list. See for yourself, there are 30 places in the list, and out of the 10 that have been announced, your Konoha occupies 9. What else do you want? It should be the seal necklace. Uchiha Ran glanced at Tsunade's neck. Seal necklace. Tsunade hadn't spoken yet, but Hashirama, who had returned to the meeting, was puzzled. How could it be a seal necklace? It's just a special Cherira enchantment. If it wasn't for Nissan's inclusion of wood-style sealing techniques in it, it could barely suppress the moon. The power itself is nothing at all, not even as good as my Blade of the Thunder Spirit. Is Blade of the Thunder Spirit strong? It can be hooked by Sasuke with a rough bird, and broken by Naruto with a snail ball. Even if it is strong, it is limited. Stronger than most ninja gear, but nothing in front of a really powerful ninja interface. At least one of the 7 hidden blades, Thunderfang, is stronger than Blade of the Thunder Spirit. Maybe I didn't discover the mystery of the seal necklace. After all, there are fish that slip through the net like the inheritance stone tablet, aren't they? The steel beside Uchiha ran. Difficult hand Tobirama nodded immediately. Indeed, even Sage of 6 Paths and Black Zetsu can go wrong, but have not found the true purpose of the inheritance stone tablet. Everything is possible. Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Black Zetsu, is this the legendary slasher? It really hurts. At this time, everyone is curious about Uchiha Ran's guess. Number 21. Induction Crystal. Anyone can inject their own chara into it, and the wearer can inject chara to communicate when using it, so that the other party can cast ninjutsu in the air, and can even summon when the energy is sufficient. Owner. Tsunade, Ran-kun, you guessed it right. Tsunade picked up the necklace around his neck, and a look of admiration flashed in his beautiful eyes. This is not a seal necklace, but a top-level life-saving charm. 9, Tobirama said with a sigh. Uchiha Ran nodded in agreement and said, because it is a small crystal, you don't take it too seriously. After first Hokage infuses the chala and leaves the sealing techniques, you use it as a seal necklace. 22. Advertisement. But in fact, this is a sensor necklace. The way to use it is to keep Zarila as a medium, so that the wearer can make sensory contact and beckon beaters. 267. The most surprising thing is that it has the power of space and can summon people. But there should be a lot of capacity needed. This induction crystal should be a special crystal that appeared after the divine tree was planted. Because the person who got the crystal was a fool, first Hokage, who didn't really understand the function of the crystal, so that the pearl was dusty and even destroyed in Naruto's hands. But now, not anymore. Soon, reward information will be updated. Weapon reward. Quality improvement. 1. Increase the ability to independently absorb natural energy and convert it into chara. 2. The number of chara that can be stored has been increased from 3 to 10. 3. 2 kinds of reserved ninjutsu can be used at the same time. Owner's reward 1. Increase the power of yin and escape, and there is a high probability of having the body of an immortal after being stimulated. 2. Activate the Uchiha Madara bloodline, have 3 Tomo Sharingan, and even Mangekyo. What? Jinbang shoots down a ray of light to improve the quality of the induction crystal. When the light disappeared, Uchiha Ran pointed a finger and added Zara himself with a pupil technique. His woman, of course, is to be protected by him. Tsunade gave him a sweet smile, and then said, I'll receive reward 1. Of course, it is the reward 1. After all, Uchiha Obito and Shimura are not many Tibetan policemen, but there are many 3 Tomo Sharingan. And these Sharingans are now in the hands of Uchiha Ran and Tobirama. Tsunade's progress in becoming stronger now can be said to be exactly the same as that of Rough Hand Hashirama. Boom. After Tsunade got the power and began to transform, the bell of the gold medal still rang. The 3-dimensional image rhythm shows that there is a red-haired, handsome young man. Seeing him, many people showed strange colors, because not many people know him. Is it some hidden person? But some older people have an impression of him. This person is the grandson of Tang Dai's mother-in-law, Sasori of Chisha. Sasori is on the list. Uchiha Ran was also surprised, and then murmured, it can't be himself, right? Chapter 163 Weapons and owners are their own fierce people, terrifying ranking. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement, Yandai. It's Sasori, my good grandson is on the list. Close black lens bracket. Yinwu. Snail is still so young. Funno. Sasori, my good son, it's great to see you growing up. Open black lens bracket Yandai. No, Sasori should be 32 now, why is he still looking like a boy? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Sasori. Grandma, Dad, Mom, I transformed myself into a puppet. Close black lens bracket. Senator Tai. You are really a werewolf, it's not enough to poison me, you actually transformed yourself into a puppet. Yandai. I'm sorry, Lord Third Case Cage. Moritetsu. It's also a commonplace in the police, everyone knows what's going on, it'll be good if Sasori has a chance to revive me in the future. Open black lens bracket Sasori. After I have done my best to resurrect my parents and mother-in-law, I will resurrect you. Rudai. Sasori, have you really transformed yourself into a puppet? Sasori. Well, I used to think that life was too fragile, and I felt that the 10-finger control of the puppet was too weak, so I transformed myself into a puppet body, so I would not worry about the loss of life. Orochimaru. Sasori, you and I are really on the same path. Sasori. I do not deny the pursuit of eternal life, but not in other respects. Wen Nai. My poor child actually transformed himself into a puppet. Open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran. Fate is wonderful, and now it seems that it is a good thing. Yinwu. A good thing? Lord 5th Hokage, apart from eternal life, there is not enough good thing to see here. Open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran. Double the happiness, only one. Open black lens bracket Yan Sho Hashirama. Double the happiness, hiss. While chatting among the crowd, they found that the stereoscopic images in the sky did not contain any weapons. This situation left a lot of people stunned. Weapon list, no weapons? But soon, everyone reacted. So that's what 5th Hokage calls double happiness. 20th. Sasori Golem Owner. Sasori of Akasha, Orochimaru. Interesting, I am my own weapon, and this can also be on the list. Open black lens bracket Wei Sho Hashirama. In that case, it's not your own weapon? Open black lens bracket Uchiha Madara. Don't pretend to be a cultural person here, isn't a summoning beast also a weapon? This is idealism. Advertisement open black lens bracket Konkuro. A puppet is a puppet, and a person is a person. Terumi Mei. I didn't expect that the gold list reward can be doubled. Open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran. Interesting, makes me want to try to sign as summoning beast. Open black lens bracket Uzumaki Nagato. I am familiar with this wave of operations, although they are all corpses. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Conan. Animals can, beasts can, ninjas can, tailed beasts can, maybe people can really. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Kagaya. If the concubine signs ran into a summoning beast, could it become a list? Open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran. You are wrong. Open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Kagaya. Or, are we signing each other as summoning beast? Close black lens bracket. Uchiha Ran. I think the gold list may be annoying now. Close black lens bracket. Gold list. Jin Bang said he had no idea, must have an idea. Maybe you leave people alone and want to compare with animals? At this time, the reward information is updated. Weapon reward. Heart of Item Spirit, allows the puppet to be born with intelligence, grow like a human child. If it is a human puppet, it can restore consciousness, similar to reincarnation. Owner reward. Human body, you can switch freely between the puppet body and the real body. See this bonus. In the live broadcast room, Sasori, who was somewhere in the land of fire, was overjoyed. Crack, under everyone's attention, Sasori's hidden puppet, Fei Luhu, was wearing a red cloud and black windbreaker. Shao organization. Sasori-like tail. Fei Luhu automatically untied, revealing a red-haired, handsome young puppet. In the heart of this puppet, there is a core with the word, Sasori, written on it. What, in the sky, Jin Bang shot down a ray of light, covering Sasori's puppet body. When the light dissipated, the Sasori puppet formed a seal on both hands, and summoned 3 puppets from nowhere. The first puppet was the third Case-Cage Moritetsu who was transformed into a puppet. He was known as the strongest Case-Cage in front of him, and was killed by Sasori using poison and sneak attacks. The other 2 puppets are, Father, and, Mother. They're human-shaped puppets made by Sasori of Akasha in the appearance of his parents when he was a teenager. After leaving San Shinobi, they stay at home and can be used for battle after being transformed by a rough mother-in-law. Sasori went back to San Shinobi to take away the pair of puppets when he was acting for his mother-in-law. Awareness, recall. The Sasori puppet seals again. Advertisement the next moment, everyone saw a blue light covering the third Case-Cage puppet, the Father, and Mother, 2 puppets. When the light disappeared, the eyes of the 3 puppets suddenly became smart. My soul left the pure land and came to this world. Third Case-Cage opened his mouth. He tried to control his body, and found that he could actually move, but he didn't have a sense of reality, and it felt like he was controlling a machine body. Drink. Fumi Nai's puppet flew to Sasori and hugged him. Son, Mom and Dad are sorry for you. Rough Wu walked up to Sasori and patted him on the shoulder. There is always a difference between a father's love and a mother's love. Sasori's expression is very dull. I don't know if it's the puppet's fixed expression, or it's a portrayal of the real mood now, but the action of him reaching out and hugging his mother's puppet shows that he is also very excited. I don't blame you, it's all Konoha White Fang's fault, Sasori of Akasha said seriously. Hitaki Sakumo. Hitaki Kakashi. When your family gets together, what does whipping a corpse mean? Uchiha Ran watched this scene through the camera and said with interest. In this way, as long as the puppet is connected to the Sasori's body puppet, it is a part of his body, that is, a part of the weapon. It's no wonder that the ranking is so high. The third generation seal and Sasori's own strength are not weak, there are still some cards. I just don't know whether the newly controlled puppets can also enjoy the gold ranking rewards after obtaining the rewards. Saying that, Uchiha Ran touched his chin. Terumi Mei and the others listened to what he said and swallowed silently to dry their saliva. Is this the legendary 5th Hokage, where the gold list is cheap, and it really is extraordinary? Yeah. Glancing across the gold list, Uchiha Ran took a new interest. Open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran angry face red sand no Sasori, you can quickly collect the owner's reward, maybe you don't need my help, you can also ask your parents and third Kazekage to help. Orochimaru. Rai-kun, you mean, all the puppets controlled by Sasori's body are part of the body? Uchiha Ran. I think it can be calculated like this before receiving the reward, it depends on how the gold list is judged. Open black lens bracket Sasori of red sand. Got it? In the land of fire, Sasori of red sand collects the reward against the gold list. The next moment, a ray of light fell and enveloped him. A strange force acted on the special core on his left chest, which turned into the size of a coin at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then sank into his body. That is, at this moment, his puppet body began to change, the skin became very delicate, and the expression on his face became more agile. If the same changes, there is also the third Kazekage puppet. Poor Wu. Advertisement when nigh. This is the end of the Jinbang live room screen. Sasori of red sand. Mr. Ran, it is true that all my puppets and I can have the effect of being a human being. According to the information disclosed by Jinbang, they are all judged to be part of my Sasori of red sand, because they are all connected to the core, but if you add new puppets later, you cannot get this effect. Uchiha Ran. So, having a new puppet won't be able to awaken people's intelligence, and creating a new puppet won't be able to achieve the same effect as reincarnation. Sasori's reward 1 is actually similar to the effect of reincarnation. The only area police, 1 is remote control, 1 line control. Open black lens bracket Sasori of Akasa. That's it, open black lens bracket Uchiha Ran. Next, I will give you a vacation and enjoy the time with your parents. Sasori of Akasha. Write more in Dai-sama. The weapon listing experience and the owner's listing reward are equivalent to Sasori in all the guild. Wang Zhao. Puppets in his hands can act with flesh and blood, and have self-consciousness. Although it will be controlled by Sasori, the puppets of 3rd Kazekage, Jitaki and Fumano are all resurrected to some extent. The puppets added after a long time cannot enjoy the same rewards. Pity. Uchiha Ran couldn't help but sigh, the crowd was speechless. This guy is really greedy. Yo, at this moment, the golden bell rang. A 3-dimensional image of the person on the list appears. Taking a closer look, I found that it was Uchiha Madara who had just been on the list. Looks like it's a flame fan. Uchiha Madara folded his arms and said searchingly. But his magic was unpleasant. The flame fan actually went around the 19th place? Influence turned into a streamer into the list number 19. Uchiha Flame Fan, passed down from generation to generation by the Uchiha Patriarch. It is made from the branches of the sacred tree and has the effect of rebounding all ninjutsu. Owner. Uchiha Madara. Seeing this ranking information, countless people's expressions were dull. Onogi. Uchiha fan is like Wagyu when I hear it, but I thought it was actually made from the branches of the sacred tree, isn't that part of 10 Tails? But this is actually the 19th place. Terumi Mei. What kind of monster weapons are the top 18? Chapter 164 Shocked but still shocked, Sage of Six Paths is also behind. 1/4. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Onogi. Unbelievable, according to my speculation, Madara-sama's flame fan is at least in the top 10, but I didn't expect it to be the 9th. 4th generation I. The two traitors, Golden Horn and Silver Horn, took away the Six Paths ninja gear, otherwise I, Cloud Shinobi Village, should be proud of the audience this time. Luo Sha. The hero does not mention his bravery back then. Quote. Golden Horn. The Six Paths ninja tools that Yinzhao and I have are now in Konoha's hands. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket 4th generation I. What? How can you do this? Close black lens bracket. Yinzhao. Junior, are you teaching me to do things? Onogi. It is said that the Silver Horn and the Golden Horn died in the hands of second Hokage back then. The place of their death was in a certain sea area in the land of water. Can you find the Six Paths ninja tools left behind? Is it second Hokage? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket black soil. Grandpa, you are so stupid. If these weapons fell into second Hokage's hands, how would Golden Horn and Shining Armor know? She. It is the reincarnation of rice soil, and the master of Gold Horn and Silver Horn has a summoning scroll of 4 Six Paths ninja tools. Azabui. Yes, it should be Konoha who found the golden horn and silver horn relics with the help of second Hokage, and then summoned the hooks for reincarnation, and then controlled their summoning 6 paths ninja tools. Open black lens bracket Shi. Askus Cloud Shinobi Village has already paid Konoha the amber bottle, and the 5 6 paths ninja tools are all in Konoha's hands. Open black lens bracket Terumi Mei. 6 paths ninja tools have been discussed a lot in the past 7 days, and it was something that everyone had expected to fall into Konoha's hands. All add up to 5 things, occupying only 5 places on the leaderboard, which is shocking of the other 14. Quote. Luo Sha. That's right, apart from Otsutsuki Kagaya's ghetto statue, soul-chopping sword and dark ancestral talisman, there are 10 others. Quote. Open black lens bracket Black Earth. There are also Renmara earrings, Oya Castle Yan's fairy bean jar, Temari's function beads, and 5th Hokage's Bengali ring. Quote. Brilliant hand Hashirama. In other words, there are 7 weapons that no one can guess at all, and they are all ranked above the flame fan. Cool. Crowd. 267. We guess because we don't know. 99% of everything is in your hands. Konoha, what are you messing with first Hokage? At this time, the ranking reward is updated. Weapon reward. It can become bigger and smaller, the upper limit of the attack can be increased, and after the attack is rebounded, the power of the trick can be expanded by 1 to 5 times. Owner's reward. Intermediate Wanji Lucky Draw X1. What? A ray of light remained on the golden list, shrouded in the flame fan behind Uchiha Madara. Difficulty Hashirama immediately envied and said, Madara, lend me this flame fan to play with. Get out. Uchiha Madara spit out a word coldly. Lend you a play? Think all dreams. Now that the flame fan has been promoted, when I fight with you next time, I deliberately lure you to cast Shinsu hand in hand, I will double the rebound for you, and let you suffer the pain of being pressed on the ground and rubbed on the ground. When the time comes, it will be Uncle Ben's turn to give you both hands. Advertisement. Thinking of the beauty, Uchiha Ran laughed outright. Wrapping his hands, Hashirama immediately folded his arms around his chest, trembling all over, and said, Madara, I always feel like you want to do something bad to me. 93. Roll. Of course, Uchiha Madara wouldn't admit that Shira in the ninja world is in YY, so he immediately restrained his smile and said lightly, after 3 gold rankings were announced, it's finally my uncle's turn to take a shot, don't you allow me to be happy. Take a hand. Wisdom. Hashirama put the bad premonition behind him in an instant, came to Uchiha Madara's side in a flash, and said, Madara is hot, it's time for me, the god of luck, to give you some milk. Ah, Uchiha Madara sneered. ADBF. If you are the god of luck, the world should be in chaos. Lottery. Uchiha Madara spoke directly. Mada is spicy. Dazuzi was angry. Hassi. Uchiha Madara shouted. Why are you shouting so loudly? Washo. Hashirama was imposing weak. Instinctive reaction. Uchiha Madara tilted her head. All. Grandma Mito, are you sure this isn't a show of affection? Gong Zina asked in a low voice. Ah, Uzumaki Mito sneered, nibbled melon seeds calmly, and watched TV intently. It's good to get used to it. Can they still be able to fencing? With this time, you might as well watch a few more episodes of idol dramas with me. Saying that, Uzumaki Mito wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes with a handkerchief. Professor Dai is so handsome, I didn't expect 5th Hokage to have the talent to be a screenwriter for TV dramas. Uzumaki Kashina. Sure enough, Hashirama and Uchiha Madara can be today, and no one around them is innocent. A familiar turntable appeared. Start. Uchiha Madara continued to draw without waiting for Hashirama to speak. The testimonials began to turn, and finally stopped at the Gongfa, Secret Law column. 1. The Dharma Body of Natural Disaster. 2. The 8 Wonders of the Weather, the World Under the Celestial Master. 3. Conqueror's Hockey Practice Method, One Piece World. Note. Conqueror's Hockey is activated. 4. 100 Steps Flying Sword, 9 Songs World. 5. Flame-splitting wave ruler, different fire continent world, can be adapted to flame fan. 6. Hot hell, Shinigami world, can be adapted to flame fans. Advertisement. 7. Pure Yang Yan, little matchmaker world. 8. Dragon Slayer profound truth, Shiranui type, red lotus phoenix sword, fairy tale world. 9. One Yang finger, sacred world. 10. Magic flame shock, Tiga world. 10 options are available. Uchiha Madara recognizes these words, but does not know the content. Wisdom hand. Hashirama swept over quickly, and immediately said, Madara, you can trust me about banning this kind of thing. I tell myself the usual numbers you buy for rehearsal. 1, 3, 6, 7, 10. After speaking, difficult hand. Hashirama looked at Uchiha Madara, trying to make the opponent submit with his eyes. But Uchiha Madara ignored him directly, and turned to Uchiha Ran and asked, dying, 5 bands are more cost-effective. Obviously there is the encyclopedia of the world, and if you can ask, the fool will follow your luck. After Uchiha Ran read the 10 options information, his expression became very strange. Hearing Madara's question, his expression became even more bizarre, and he said, just do the opposite of what first generation said. Difficulty. Hashirama. Tsunade. Everyone. Ah, Ran now, are you targeting me? Huisho. Hashirama rarely showed an angry expression. Anything can question him, but he can't stand luck. Grandfather, please, don't be embarrassed anymore. Tsunade raised his forehead speechlessly. The corners of the mouths of countless people around him twitched. Everyone is qualified to say first generation, but as the number one fat sheep in the ninja world, where does your confidence come from? Among these 10 rewards, the first one should be the best. Uchiha Ran pondered for a moment and explained. Everyone knows that I have an intermediate world portal, and the world behind the folding fan portal is the world of different fires. 93. I have already returned to the trick of the flame splitting the wave ruler. If Madara wants to learn, I can teach it, so there is no need to choose. 99. And the choice, this supreme Dharma body is from the world of the different fire continent, that is, a rough world, the power is very powerful, the 6 paths level may not be able to master, and it can destroy the world. Speaking of which, Uchiha Ran paused. Then he continued. There are many means for option 2, but your strength against Madara is not much improved. Conqueror's hockey practice method is very good, even for the current you, it has greatly improved. The 100 steps flying sword focuses on attacking, and it is appropriate to ask sword repairers, but Madara does not match. The flame divides the wave ruler. Skip. Hot hell. This move comes from Shinigami's world, known as the strongest in the year. Shinigami's strongest ultimate move, Zanpakuto, is very powerful, and the gold list is adapted for you to use the flame fan to perform, which can increase your combat power a lot. 33. Advertisement, Pure Yang Yan. You can enjoy double the happiness. Not only is it a means of attack, but also allows you to have a special physique, and once developed, it will not lose to the 6 paths bloodline. Dragon Slaying Profound Truth, Shiranui type, Red Lotus Phoenix Sword, powerful attacking tricks, among the options, 66. Yangji, low-level martial arts, I'm sorry to ask you. Magic Flame Impact is the master's ability after Gorzon's upgrade. When combined with Susanoo, it has the power to destroy the world. 99. That's what it means. Uchiha Ran explained the heights represented by the 10 awards. Uchiha Madara listened patiently, glanced at Hashirama, and said lightly, you are indeed very useful, you don't need to ask about Dai in the future, just ask you and choose the other way. What amazes me is that your luck can be applied to the gold list. 39. Tanker Hashirama. Dejected, puff. Many people couldn't help laughing. The bad luck is not terrible, and the extinction of the number is really speechless. Extinguishing mistakes, it is you who is talking about you, go round Tsunade. What are you doing laughing so loudly? No selection, start the lottery. Uchiha Madara made a quick decision. The next moment, the testimonial stopped at. Sure enough, if you don't listen to Hashirama, you will be lucky. Uchiha Madara has a cold smile. Is this the code to pay the wealth? Uchiha Ran thoughtful. At this time, Tianbang shot down a ray of light, covering Uchiha Madara. At the same time, the screen of the Jinbang Live broadcast room disappeared. Yo! The golden bell rang. A 3-dimensional image of Otsutsuki Hagoromo emerges. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Sage of 6 paths can only be ranked 18th? Absolutely. Chapter 165. There is no weak in the catastrophe world. Reward the seeds of the god tree. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement in the sky. A new 3-dimensional image emerges. It was a young man with brown hair with 2 long horns on his head. The young man is wearing a white coat, with 6 black hook-shaped patterns printed on the chest, a red swirl-shaped logo on the back, and a 9-square grid of hooks on the bottom. This person is no stranger to everyone. It is the founder of Ninja, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, known as Sage of 6 Paths. It is not surprising that this one can make the list. The 6 Paths Ninja Tool, also known as the Immortal Noble Phantasm, is named after the Sage of 6 Paths. The Uchiha Flame Fan is inherited from Indra, and Indra is naturally derived from Sage of 6 Paths. The Uchiha clan steel, the inheritance steel known as the Immortal Stone Steel, is also his legacy. There are already 7 things, and Sage of 6 Paths itself, it is impossible not to leave more weapons. And possibly stronger. Fairy Tin Staff. Under the attention of Vientiane, Sage of 6 Paths asked 10 questions with both hands, and then divided a certain distance. The power of Yang and Yin continued to emerge, the group asked, and finally turned into a long weapon, with the ends of the Sunday to Sunday and the moon. Wait until he's done all this. The image turned into a streamer and shot into the weapon list. Specific ranking information is displayed. Rank 18. Fairy Tin Staff changed from Truth-Seeking Ball, exclusive to 6 Paths level. Owner. Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Seeing this scene, the whole ninja world became eerily quiet, and it became extremely lively. Luosha. At the beginning, I wanted to say, how could the ranking of the items in Sage of 6 Paths continue to be 18? I didn't expect this weapon to be created by him, so it's fine. 1. Onogi. Terrible. Weapons made with the power of Vagina and Yangtong can be photographed 18, and they are stronger than the branches of the divine tree such as flame fans. 4th generation I. 6 Paths level, so terrifying. Otsutsuki Shurin. I can't create weapons yet, it seems that there is still some gap in the 6 Paths level, but the ancestors will definitely be on the list. Open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Hamura. I can't make the list. Otsutsuki Hamura was a little embarrassed. Originally, Otsutsuki did not say anything, so he was silent. The result was hooked by Q. Open black lens bracket Otsutsuki Sharon. How is it possible? How can you, ancestor, have no weapons on the list? Otsutsuki Hamura. For the time being, I am still staying in the Pure Land as a soul, and I am considered dead. And if it comes to weapons, the immortal sword I used in the 6 paths period with Nissan, and the immortal talisman of the Toad Kingdom that I used to resurrect the Toad Kingdom. All of them can be on the list, but unfortunately they were all destroyed in the battle with my mother, and now I can't condense the fairy tin stick. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Otsutsuki Sharon. So it is the younger generation who offended the ancestors. Otsutsuki Sharon suddenly reacted. Not to mention that Otsutsuki Hagoromo once did Sage of 6 Paths, it is said that he has now been resurrected in a peak state, and Otsutsuki Hamura is still in a soul state, so it can be determined that the former is stronger. In this case, even if both of them can make fairy tin sticks and make it on the list, it must be Otsutsuki Hagoromo in front. Advertisement. So now that Otsutsuki Hagoromo is on the list, it means that Otsutsuki Hamura has no chance. If it wasn't for Hamura's quick response, he would have killed him. Open black lens bracket. Uzumaki Naruto. The power of immortals, the talisman of immortals, it is very powerful when you hear it. Uchiha Sasuke. It's something you can't get. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Uzumaki Naruto. Dry throat, you look down on people. Open black lens bracket. Uchiha Sasuke. I just looked down on you. Open black lens bracket. Uzumaki Naruto. I want to duel with you. Open black lens bracket. Uchiha Sasuke. Idiot, the immortals of Hamura said that the immortal sword and immortal talisman have been shattered and consumed. Where did you get them? Open black lens bracket. Uzumaki Naruto. You love an idiot, don't you know that Jinbang is omnipotent? Close black lens bracket. Tianjaya. Broken, Naruto is so smart today. Uzumaki Naruto. Would I say this is what I reminded? Open black lens bracket. Uchiha Sasuke. 2 majors, the gold ranking reward is so precious, you actually want this kind of weapon that was eliminated by Sage of 6 Paths, you are not saved. Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, the reincarnation of Indra and Ashura in this term started their daily mutual tolerance again. And the scene of the 5 Shadows Conference of the Iron Country. Uchiha Madara received the practice method of the Heavenly Flame Dharmakaya. He is now at the 6 Paths level, and can directly contact the natural energy. If he abandons Zara, he can enter the supreme level that is comparable to the Blood Snares level police through this method. Master Madara, please give me a copy of the description of the supreme Dharma body given by Jinbang. Uchiha Ran said to Madara, he wants to verify a guess. Here, Madara waved his hand. Both parties are at the 6 Paths level or above, and using Chara to complete information sharing is just a matter of eyes. Soon, Uchiha Ran learned the specific information of the supreme Dharma body. Really? Uchiha Ran's eyes narrowed. These days, he has not been running to the different fire continent less often, and he has encountered a strong fighting saint during this time. After a fight, the opponent was controlled by Kyoka Suigetsu. He found that he underestimated the strength of the powerhouses in the different fire continent. Just as the battle strength of the ninja world collapsed in the later stage, the battle strength of the different fire continent in the later stage was actually similar. Duzong and Do Zun are the police of heaven and earth, and Do Zun and Do Sheng are the police of heaven and earth. Do Sheng and Do Di are also in a state of alarm. Every breakthrough in realm is a transformation. In the 6 Paths level of the ninja world, the strength is only between Dozong and Do Zun, and it is better than functional, all kinds of natural ninjutsu. The level above the 6 Paths level, Uchiha Ran also named it as the Blood Jisuru level, that is, the Otsutsuki level, the Otsutsuki Kagaya Heide level police, after consuming the ripe Zara fruit. At this time, the strength is properly Do Zun Jojan. Advertisement. And unlike Do Zun and Dozong, who still need to learn fighting skills, the Blood Ji Snail level comes with countless special abilities, which can be understood as minor supernatural powers. And Do Sheng, that is another scene, and it is also the current level of Uchiha Ran. And he felt that if his estimate was correct, it should be at the level of a half-step Do Di. And because he uses natural energy, his combat power is comparable to Do Di. In the words of the different fire continent, the pinnacle of Do Sheng's cultivation can leapfrog the ranks and fight against ordinary Do Di. In the different fire continent, he is almost nothing. But if it is put into a catastrophe world, the Supreme Master, Do Sheng, with the powerful Supreme Dharma body can compete with him, and it is even more warned that the Supreme Being of the same level as the Emperor Do. This gap is a bit strange, but after self-confident scrutiny, Uchiha Ran found that the situation made sense. The symbols of the Supreme are the Supreme Sea and the Supreme Dharma body, and you can become a strong person in the rough world when you step into it. Then there is the Supreme Earth. The symbol is the phase of heaven and earth. Looking at the whole catastrophe world, it can have a shocking name resounding on one side, and its resilience is extremely powerful. In the end, Tianjin, each product is divided into early stage, middle stage, and late stage. It can condense the spirit body of Tianjin, and the spirit body is its symbol. Take the foreign evil clan in the rough world as an example. Among the 32 great clans, the Patriarch is the Heavenly Demon Emperor, Sacred Heaven Supreme. Under the 32 clans, there are ordinary clans, and the Patriarch is the Emperor Xuanmo, Xianpinshan Jijun. Under the big clan, there is a small clan, the Emperor Yumo, Spiritual Heaven Supreme. Alien Demon King is the Supreme Being, demons will be ordinary supremes. The martial ancestor world, which is the same inferior world as the different fire continent, was once invaded by the different demon emperor. And this alien demon emperor is the patriarch of the branch of the extraterritorial evil clan, and his strength is weaker than some small clans. The strength of the demon emperor is Huatian Supreme, and he invaded the martial ancestor world to break through the heavenly supreme with the help of the power of the plane embryo. That is to say, the different demon king corresponds to the ancestral realm of the martial ancestor world. In the 10 Kings Hall, some are demon kings, Earth Supreme, some are demon generals, Supreme, and after entering the world of catastrophe, their strength will be weakened to varying degrees, and also suppressed by the ancestors. From the 7th to the 9th rank of the Supreme, it corresponds to the 3rd round of reincarnation. The 4th rank to 6th rank Supreme, corresponding to the 2nd round of reincarnation. 0. For flowers. From the 1st rank to the 3rd rank, it corresponds to 1 cycle of reincarnation. When martial ancestor ascended to the rough world, he was in the ancestral realm, Zushan Supreme, which is equivalent to the alien demon emperor. When he first broke through in the original book, he was once suppressed in the decisive battle, and was almost sealed in the end. Retaliate against the opponent. This can be understood as the martial ancestor, with the help of this world's power, has the power comparable to the spiritual heaven supreme. But after flying into the world of the big tank, this power can no longer be used. After martial ancestor arrived in the rough world, it didn't take long for him to break through the heavenly sovereign. In the different fire continent, the Do Sheng is comparable to the supreme, and the Do Di is the earth supreme. Originally, there was origin chi in this world, and there were not a few people who broke through the Do Emperor, which was equivalent to the strong ancestors of the martial ancestor world. When Emperor Yan ascended, he had already walked in the Do Emperor realm for a long time, and he faintly felt that he had to leave. It can be confirmed that he is the pinnacle of the supreme earth. At this time, it is worth mentioning the martial ancestor world. Comparable to the supreme reincarnation mirror to open the sea of reincarnation, the supreme sea, Do Di in the world of different fire continents will wait for Do Di to follow the master Do Di Dharma body. Between the supreme Dharma body and the law of heaven and earth, it can be seen that it is lower plane restrictions. Advertisement: unless you are talented, you can't be a master at the Do Sheng level, supreme. After arriving in the world of catastrophe, Emperor Yan broke through heavenly sovereign before long. Point 0. It can be seen that the Great Feast world has many advantages over the lower planes. For example, the supreme realm starts with the master supreme ocean, the master supreme Dharma body, and when the earth supreme is stronger, it transforms into the law of heaven and earth. But in the lower planes, those in the martial ancestor world who are comparable to the supreme beings who have obtained the reincarnation realm will continue to open the sea of Qi, supreme sea, and the Emperor Do, who is comparable to the supreme being in the world of different fire, will continue to condense the Dharma body, supreme Dharma body. But the people who can soar from the lower planes are all outstanding people. After arriving in the rough world, such as Qianlong Shengyuan, it quickly became stronger. Then everything can be explained. And the supreme earth displays the supreme Dharma body, starts with a big laugh, and uses the power of heaven and earth to form the law of heaven and earth. Uchiha Ran is now able to perform Susanoo with all his strength, but he is formed by his own abilities. There is a fundamental difference between the two. Therefore, counting the realm, he is now fighting at the Saint Supreme level. But the combat power is at the Do Di, Earth Supreme level. Do Sheng, who has no legal body, is his younger brother in front of him. In front of Do Di's Dharma body, the two are similar. Because the Do Di Dharma body is also a little worse than the supreme Dharma body. Besides, the supreme Dharma body also has 3, 6, 9, and so on. The police saw that the natural disaster Dharma body obtained by Uchiha Madara ranked 97th, and it was ranked anyway. In the rough world, there are some who are cultivating the supreme Dharma body of the unranked. To sum up, Uchiha Ran can now be played by Hammer Dusheng, Supreme, and Samsara Mirror, Earth Supreme, warriors, and can be placed in the rough world, but it is difficult to suppress the supreme beings equal to these two realms. It mainly depends on the specific realm and the strength of the supreme law. In the lower plane to fight the ancestors and the emperor, Uchiha Ran is not false. But if he were to meet the supreme being of the Dayan world, it would be good for him to escape. In front of Tien Jijun, he is a younger brother. And it's just combat power. When it comes to realm, he should be similar to Do Sheng Peak. This is Uchiha Ran's summary of himself. However, the world is relatively small. Although the ability is endless, it is normal to have some restrictions in front of the fantasy world. Compared with the world of different fires on the lower plane, he may still have an advantage, but in front of the world of big cakes, it is nothing. Because of this, he is also paying more and more attention to the world gate of different fire continent. When Xiao Huohuo breaks through the Emperor Do realm and ascends, he can go to the Big Pot world to complete a transformation. Wood expulsion name on the weapon. Evolved into the Tianju spear, divine sword, the power of 10 tails, the strong longing for the wind and the wish to stay, coupled with the improvement of the power of yin and yang, you can get it, so it is also called the Sword of Wish. Owner reward. God Tree Seed, People, Chapter 166. The 3 major 6 paths ninja tools are connected. Ask the number of lottery draws, please subscribe. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement, Tion's a spear. Long time no see. Somewhere in the secret place of the ninja world, Otsutsuki Hagoromo held the transformed weapon in his hand, feeling the familiar power, and the color of reminiscence appeared in Samsara's eyes. After teaming up with Otsutsuki Hamura to seal Otsutsuki Kagaya, it was discovered that the planet was already riddled with holes, and countless mountains and lands were shattered when they fought. The environment has become very inhospitable for human habitation, and the rhythm of the ninja is even more uncomfortable. The originally numerous natural energies can only be clearly sensed in places like the Three Holy Lands. In order to make up for this damage, he used the power of 10 tails and the power of wishing to upgrade the immortal tin cane into a Tianzi spear, actually a divine sword. With this, he replanned the mountains and rivers and created a world of ninja. The current ninja world, it can be said that he created it himself, can be said to have a sense of accomplishment. Sense of achievement? If all the ninjas in the ninja world knew what he was thinking, there would be a lot of grooves to spit. Why don't you know the rough age of the ninja world? For profit. In the entire ninja world, the place with the best geographical environment and the most resources is the land of fire. Other countries such as earth, wind, thunder, and water all have an important defect of 270s. During the Warring States period, major families fought to the death in order to occupy a wealthy land. This is also the reason for this 5 shadows period. Do you still have a sense of achievement? No matter what my strength is in the future, this Tianzi spear will not degenerate, and it will greatly improve my strength. The most important thing is that I can use this weapon to create a body for Hamura. Anyway, let's resurrect first. When the new list is announced in 7 days, the blood successor list will be updated, 99. When Yumura is on the list, his strength can still be improved. In the future, our two brothers will help each other. Holding the Tianzi spear quietly, Sage of 6 Paths thought a lot. But the most important thing right now is to receive the reward. The seed of the divine tree should be the same as the 10 tails brought by Otsutsuki Kagaya and Yi Shi, but it is a brand new one. Now that Otsutsuki Kagaya has reclaimed 10 tails, Otsutsuki's 10 tails are nowhere to be seen, and it is very difficult for him to re-enter the bloodstock level again. He originally planned to rely on the power of Jinbang. And now, if you can recultivate the power of 10 tails and ask the gold list, it can be faster. Advertisement. Receive. Under everyone's attention, Jinbang shot a ray of light to Otsutsuki Hagoromo's side, turning it into a 10-meter-high little 10 tails. Roar. The little 10 tails swept across Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body with one eye, and a beam of light enveloped Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body. He immediately felt a connection between the two. If this divine tree fruit is cultivated well, only he can take it. This is the end of the live broadcast screen. People in the ninja world have different thoughts. It is estimated that many people have identified Fang Lu, who is going forward. Glancing at Uchiha Madara and Wisdom Hashirama, Uchiha ran thought. Unless you get the way to become stronger from Otherworld, there is only one way to become stronger as a ninja. Raise Chara. Comprehend Yangtong Chala and Yin Dun Chala. Yang-style Chara votes to a certain extent, can have 6 paths level physique, immortal body and Otsutsuki body are one of them. Vaginal Chara accumulates to a certain extent, you can have 6 paths level eyes, Tenenshine eyes, Samsara eyes. Possessing any of them is considered to be the weakest level of the 6 paths level, such as the old Uchiha Madara, such as Hashirama, the original 3 Holy Land Immortal, and the original Pen 6 paths, which is only a quasi 6 paths. And having 2 is the second level of the 6 paths level, such as the current Uchiha Madara, the first Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and Otsutsuki Hamura. Above this, is the third level of the 6 paths level, the level of the Otsutsuki people, such as the original Otsutsuki Kagaya, and later the Otsutsuki Gold form. Of course, at the same level, there are also gaps in the number of means, different means, and combat experience. And different levels do not mean that you cannot cross-level anglers. Above the 3 levels and the 6 paths level, there are the blood snares, namely the original Otsutsuki, Otsutsuki Kagaya and Otsutsuki Hagoromo after devouring the fruit. The sign of this time is that the blood follows various means, and there is the existence of the reincarnation Sharingan. And the existence above the blood snares should be Otsutsuki's ultimate powerhouse and sect members, similar to Uchiha Ran's current level. He now has the reincarnation Mangekyo, the master of blood and the snares, and the giant form of Xeno Light. This level can be understood as an explosive star. Equivalent to fighting power. It should be noted that when Do Huang Yunji is fighting against the Zijini Lion King, and when Yao Venerable Xiao Huohuo is fighting against the Ice Emperor, the basic tactics can cause great damage in the area. There will be huge damage in the area. Dozong powerhouses stay in the void without the help of external forces, create spacelocks, and missile attacks are ineffective against powerhouses at this level of police. With their full force, ordinary villages and towns will be wiped off the map. Dozun can skillfully use the power of space, and in terms of attack power, he can match the explosion of ordinary nuclear weapons, and small and medium-sized cities can be destroyed in an instant. Advertisement semi-holy, casual hooks can achieve a small nuclear explosion, destroying one is not a problem. Do Sheng, 1 star to 5 stars can already open up a world of their own in the otherworld space, and the attack power can already match the impact of asteroids, sweeping the floor. And from 6 stars to 9 stars, it is absolutely explosive, destroying planets is not a problem. Do Di, Earth Supreme. Under the circumstance of Do Di's Dharma body, the attack covers the entire Zhongzhou, the size of a few blue stars. It is known that the peak combat power of the ninja world can grow to an explosive star. This is also a good way. Of course, Uchiha Ran thought it was a combination of multiple paths. Make good use of the golden list, this is definitely not delusional. No, the opportunity is here, Boom, boom, boom. The golden bell rang 3 times in a row. Immediately afterwards, a 3-dimensional image appeared. It's Uchiha Ran. No one was surprised. For this weapon list, Konoha is 80% contracted. And as Uchiha Ran, the purpose of Omniscient and Almighty, 5th generation, it's time for the last edition. But the next moment, countless people all widened their eyes. What? A sword fell from the sky and fell in front of Uchiha Ran. Immediately following, a golden rope tore the space and wrapped around Uchiha Ran. Finally, a red gourd appeared out of thin air, suspended in midair. Afterwards, the 3 weapons turned into 3 beams of light and shot into the golden list, reaching the top of the golden list. Ranking information appears. 17th place. Golden rope, 6 pads level weapon. People who touch the golden rope will spit out the words of their common vocabulary, but the spirit of words will change with the speaking habits of the parties. Owner. Uchiha Ran. 16th place. 7-star sword, 6 paths level weapon, a weapon that can cut off and curse the opponent's word spirit. Owner. Uchiha Ran. 15th place. Red gourd, 6 paths level weapon, supports the severed word spirit, can record the word spirit and seal it with this. The party speaks a keyword or does not speak for a long time, or rhymes with the keyword if they are close, they will be sucked into the gourd. Owner. Uchiha Ran. Advertisement. There are 3 full rankings, and it will not be possible to give everyone the whole. Originally, you thought you were on the gold list between the groups this time. As a result, you are 3 at a time. Good guy. Luo Sha. Good guy, if you put 3 on the list directly, can 5th Hokage do whatever she wants? Terumi Mei. Yes, 5th Hokage can do whatever they want. Close black lens bracket. 4th generation I. You Konoha didn't give all the good things to 5th Hokage, did you? Subtext. Uchiha Ran didn't take all your Konoha's things. Shui Zibai. In the dark, wasn't I the first one on the list? Open black lens bracket my guy. 4th Raikage want to try the power of the 8 gate for 3 minutes. Tiantian. Girls just don't have a sense of existence. Didera. I think you lack artistic experience, hello. Black Holea. Officially declare that I have joined Konoha. Quote. Dried persimmon Kisame. Don't question my leader, partner, understand. Uchi 1.5 Wave Madara. I wonder, aren't the flame fan and the inheritance stone tablet here? Beautiful hand Hashirama. This 4th Raikage is really seriously ill. Open black lens bracket Orochimaru. I don't know that our Konoha talks about more work and more rewards. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Tobarama. Check it out for yourself, this big guy, close corner bracket. 4th generation I, Nozomi and Azabuyi were expressionless. Hopeless. The stupidity of the 4th generation is just as powerful as the power of Lord Ran, and it cannot be stopped or matched. At this time, the gold list information is updated. Weapon gold rope reward. Increased length, increased hardness, increased flexibility, unless the person touching the rope breaks free or knows a special word, the body cannot move, and the soul can be bound. Weapon 7-star sword reward. The power of the curse becomes stronger, and it comes with sealing techniques, which can cut the soul and is effective for the soul. Closing parenthesis. Weapon red gourd reward. Expand the internal space, add prisons, strengthen the sealing power, seal the soul, and increase the suction method reciting special formulas. Owner rewards options. 1. Intermediate Lottery X3. 2. Advanced Lottery X1. Chapter 167 The first advanced lottery draw, stunned options. 4 quarters. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's actually possible to turn 3 intermediate draws into 1 advanced draw. Uchiha Ran was shocked. He was not surprised that 3 6-paths weapons would be listed together. In terms of functionality, these 3 weapons can be said to be a group. The 7-star sword is used to limit, and the golden rope is always controlled, all for the purpose of successfully sealing people into the red gourd. Compared to the amber bottle, which can seal a person if it responds to the holder, it is much worse. Uchiha even wanted to destroy when he first got these eyed weapons. Too far away. Compared with the old Kun's golden rope and other treasures, the difference is not a star. Fortunately, after the improvement of the gold ranking, the ability has finally improved. At least the golden rope and the 7-star sword are not limited to support, but they can also explode with great power. SWAT is aimed at the soul, and it will not appear inferior in any world. However, Uchiha Ran's attention was directly attracted by the advanced lottery. Compared with the primary lottery, the intermediate lottery is improved, so there is no doubt that the advanced lottery will also be improved on the basis of the intermediate lottery. The upper limit has been raised. More variety. The world of design becomes wider. But the lower limit is definitely still that low. But for him who knows the plot of Wanji, he can use the ban option to ban the bad rewards. Therefore, in the advanced lottery, it is very likely that good things can be produced. But the O3 intermediate draw, but there are 3 chances. Take advantage of it, maybe it's worth far more than the heavy rain premium draw. So, take a gamble. Take a gamble. Uchiha Ran quickly made up his mind. With his current star-rated strength, Dragon Ball before the Super Saiyan lay down can actually be regarded as a character, and in the Shinigami world and Pirate world, they are all Tianwagang characters. Low-level draws can be ignored. The intermediate lottery can actually help very little, and it is more of an increase. Advanced lottery, easy to have something to break the ceiling. Give it a try. I choose the premium draw. 99. Advertisement. Uchiha Ran said cheerfully. Under the watchful eyes of countless people, Jinbang shot down a ray of light and came to Uchiha Ran, turning it into a golden turntable. The content is Gong method, martial arts, talent, inheritance, pets, props, and special items. 5 options became 7 options. Among them, the secret methods of martial arts and martial arts, which were originally classified together, were unpacked into 2 this time. On this basis, there is an option for special items. This is a good thing. Special items, no matter what they are basically useless. Cultivation and martial arts are separated, and the situation has become clear, and the probability of good rhyme goods has also increased. Start the lottery. Directly pretending not to see the eyes of Tsunade and Hashirama next to him, Uchiha Ran made a decisive choice. What? The pointer turns, and finally stops at the item bar. Props. Uchiha Ran pouted. Looking at all the lottery draws so far, the probability of props being drawn is undoubtedly the highest. Are you sure it's not a covert operation? With a whimper, Uchiha Ran swiped across the content-changing carousel. 1. Blue Star Dragon Ball World. 2. Vengeful Ring Dekong Tutor World. 3. 10,000 Beast Cauldron Different Fire World. 4. Angel Potion Spiritual Cage World. 5. BB Dong's Original Fatty Times Soul Ring World. 6. God Killing Weapon Arsenal Super God World. 7. Tears of the Void Little Matchmaker World. 8. Fangtian Painting Halberd The Three Kingdoms World of Gaowu. 9. Lagerstreamia Soft Sword Divine Sculpture World. Plus. Hogyoku Shinigami World Full Version. 11. Prisoner Tracking Glasses Shinigami Elementary School World. 12. Eternity Core Trigger World. 13. Sword Spirit 9 Songs World. Advertisement. 14. Wind Card Magic Card Small Sakura World. 15. Animal Milk Perfect World. After reading the names of the 15 props, Uchiha Ran was really fragrant. The first reward is exciting. The Blue Star 7 Dragon Balls can definitely be effective for ordinary people. With Uchiha Ran's current strength, he can make a lot of wishes, such as possessing the power of a turtle immortal, a thorough introduction to Qi after all, learning turtle Qigong and so on. In short, the wishes of the planet-level police can be realized. The second bonus is also pretty good. The Ring of Penjali is the proof of the successor of the Pengari family. The ring is divided into 7 attributes: sky, haze, rain, clearness, thunder, cloud and fog, totaling 7 pieces. The ring is engraved with the mission of the leader and guardian and its unique features. Each ring has incredible power. The ring of Vongola representing the fog has been owned by Terumi Mei. The central part of the big empty ring is engraved with the words, Vongola Familia, Pongol family, surrounded by 66 gems of various colors, which is the proof of the heir to the head of the Vongola family, and also the evidence of the core members. This is the most precious Penglay ring, and it is worth owning. The third myriad beasts, Uchiha Ran remembered that in addition to the list of different fires in the world of different fires, there was also a list of heavenly cauldrons in the refining world, which recorded those extremely perfect and outstanding medicinal cauldrons. There are 13 cauldrons on the Tianding ranking, and any one of them has the magic power that makes alchemists flock to them. The cauldron of 10,000 beasts is one of them, and the original owner was Han Feng, the adopted son and apprentice of Venerable Yao. For the alchemist, this is a good thing, but for Uchiha Ran, it is useless. And he really wants it, and he can ask for it when Venerable Yao kills Han Feng. This can be ruled out. The fourth item is an angel potion from the Spirit Cage world, which can be understood as a supergene potion. The Spirit Cage world is an apocalyptic world, and the power level of the world is just like that. The so-called angel potion has nothing to do with the current Uchiha Ran, and can be directly ruled out. The fifth, BB Dong was originally fatter, from the Spirit Ring world of Tang, White-Eyed Wolf, Double Standard King, Ishin Yi Xuandian Gong, San, and belonged to the queen who represented justice. Uchiha Ran was speechless for a moment. What is the use of the queen's fat times? As far as the Soul Ring world title Duluo is concerned, he may not have the power level of the world Duhuangqiang in the different fire continent, and he would find it boring to give him a soul ring. What's the point of being fat? But collectibles, right? BB Dong himself is almost the same. Exclude. The sixth, the God-killing weapon arsenal, comes from the Super God world. This jar is good stuff. It belongs to the Super Seminary, and one of the smallpox of combat power, Kuohue Liangbing Morgana, has a weapon arsenal, most of which are in the form of demons, among which the demon claws are the most powerful weapons that are comparable to the Holy Geisha. This is reserved. Advertisement. The seventh example, Tears of the Void, comes from the world of Little Matchmaker. This is top shipping. The Tears of the Void is the most powerful magic weapon in the world of Little Matchmaker. Wherever it goes, time and space will be confused. It originates from the supreme mana, but it is born from sincerity and love. The power to shatter space, that and feeling space, shuttle space, are completely two concepts. Reserve. The eighth reward, Fang Tianhuaji, came from a certain Gao Wu Three Kingdoms world. Obviously it was Lu Bu's 5 difficulties. But Gao Wu's words, the ceiling of combat power can destroy the sky, destroy the stars or the law to reflect the power. In any of the three kingdoms 273, Lu Bu's combat power is wide in the sky. This can be kept. Comparatively speaking, the ninth reward, the Lagerstreamia soft sword, came from the divine carving world. It was a low-level martial arts or the most rubbish Chinese martial arts world. The quality was average and could be ruled out. The 10th reward is Hogyoku, which is the full version of Hogyoku in the world of Shinigami. This is a good thing. It can absorb and materialize the heart of what exists around itself, and can protect the host's body from death and immortality. When the host's ability reaches the limit or his life is threatened, Hogyoku can make the host evolve to the next realm. The 11th item, the prisoner tracking glasses, comes from the world of Shinigami elementary school students. There is no extreme in the general invention of the black technology world. Just skip it. The 12th thing, Eternity Core, comes from the world of Triga, which is another top hook. The eternal core, but the things that make the ancient Ultraman, and the ultimate life form all take action to plunder, have incredible power. The 13th thing, Reverse Scale Sword, Sword Spirit, came from the world of 9 songs. This has something to do with Kanglong Kisu, but it is also tasteless in the hands of Uchiha Ran. The 14th, the Wind card in the Claw card, comes from the world of the magic card Little Sakura. This is also too common for Uchiha Ran. The last item, Beast Milk from the Perfect World. If you want this, are you sure there will be no cause and effect with Yuanwang Tiandi? When the time comes to be liquidated, it is really terrifying. This is also excluded. Can you ban up to 10? In that case, reserve 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. 3. Start the lottery. Chapter 168. The combat power exceeds the world of smallpox. Orochimaru Lottery Inheritance. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. 15 reward options. Uchiha Ran can ban 10, which is the right given by the gold list. But he did not use all the places. There are too many good things to give up. What? The pointer continued to sign in the 7 areas, and finally stopped at the Hogyoku area. A blue-black gemstone hooked out of thin air and hovered in front of Uchiha Ran. Owner. A voice sounded in Uchiha Ran's mind. His eyes flashed, realizing that it was Hogyoku's consciousness contacting him. Hogyoku in the Shinigami world does not seem to have this ability, or such a high level of intelligence. Is it the handwriting of Jinbang? Uchiha Ran took Hogyoku into his hand and was very satisfied. This Hogyoku has completely recognized him as Lord and was born because of him. If he dies, Hogyoku will also be wiped out immediately, and in a mode similar to that after a star explodes, it turns into a black hole and devours infinitely, until one world is completely wiped out. That is to say, if he is killed by some powerful existence in a certain world in the future, Hogyoku will destroy that world in the same way and bury him with him. What a great handwriting. Not like a whole card. Sheng is like a whole card. As for Hogyoku's intelligence, it can be completely understood as the artificial intelligence in the hands of Iron Man in the Marvel world, Jarvis. It's not as easy as Icarus to backlash. For example, let me see what you can do to me now. Quote. With a hint of anticipation, Uchiha Ran placed Hogyoku between his eyebrows, pressed it lightly, and at the same time ordered with his mind. Turn into a pattern, don't change my body shape, only change my body strength. Uchiha Ran has not forgotten the changes after Aizen Rongma Hogyoku. In the first fusion state, Aizen can still maintain the appearance of Shinigami state, but it is countless times stronger than before the mutiny. In terms of attack power, the maximum strike power has been strengthened enough to knock down the Black Rope Heavenly Scourge King Ming with one blow. 0. In terms of defense, it has been strengthened to the point that even if it withstands a knife cremation and a crescent moon at 0 distance, it can only cause minor injuries. The maximum resilience is enhanced to the point that even wounds deep inside the body will recover quickly, because Hogyoku will instinctively protect the host, and Kazuki thinks, killing Aizen is almost impossible, at this time. And Aizen's own Yi Chen, at this stage, is stronger than the sum of Espada's strength. Advertisement. However, in the ninja world, this strength should be between the 6 paths level and the blood snares. Above the first form of Aizen. And Aizen's second fusion state, when he completely relied on Hogyoku's power to fight, no longer used complete hypnosis, tactics, and began to head-to-head with the enemy, the whole body was wrapped in milky white entity Reiatsu, similar to the evolution of insects. Although the chrysalis is still in the category of Shinigami, its Reiatsu, strike, speed, defense, and recovery are far stronger than the previous stage, and even Hado at level 90 or above can hardly hurt it. This should have reached the blood following the snare level police. Aizen's third fusion state, Hogyoku has become a part of Aizen's body. Although the body has been wrapped by the physical Reiatsu, the head and face are revealed. The strength does not exceed the Shinigami dimension, but it is already at the peak of the Shinigami or virtual power. Qualitative change is only one step away. Ordinary human beings will be turned to ashes because they cannot withstand his Reiatsu. This strength is estimated to be similar to that of Otsutsuki, who devoured a few chara fruits. It belongs to this level of combat power, and from the perspective of the universe, it is an explosive star strength. Aizen's fourth fusion state, his strength has surpassed Shinigami's higher dimension. Even if Hogyoku is not in the host's body, he will call the host and try to return to the host's body. At this stage, Aizen has an eye-like gap on his forehead, and his eyebrows disappear. 3 pairs of huge butterfly wings are borne on the back, the chest hook is now inlaid with the whole of Hogyoku in the center, and the right hand is integrated with Zanpakuto, which no longer belongs to the category of Shinigami. To put it figuratively, it changed from the appearance of a chrysalis in the second stage to the appearance of a butterfly. This embodies evolution, showing Aizen being reborn and reborn. This is a power beyond the level of the blood and the net, and it is estimated that it is similar to the strength of the Otsutsuki sect in this world. And in this surrender, there is a final fusion state. At this stage, Aizen's strength not only surpassed the Shinigami dimension, but even had another chance. Not only did Aizen have an eye-like gap on his forehead, his face turned black, and the previous facial skin was torn from the middle and located on both sides of the black face. There are 3 holes in the upper body, Hogyoku is in the top hole, and Zanpakuto merges with the right hand. The original 6 huge butterfly wings, each with a skeleton, on the ridge of the wing, have no characteristics of Shinigami at all, and their appearance is very virtual. He will have a truly immortal body. At the level of life, it is comparable to the Earth Immortals in the immortal world. Earth Immortal, Heaven Immortal, True Immortal, Golden Immortal. But in the Shinigami world, he can achieve the same level of life as Jinxian. Pseudo-detachment, detachment from the Shinigami world. The realm is the realm, and the combat power is the combat power. In the world of immortal cultivation, ordinary individuals have an infinite lifespan, but the fantasy world focuses on their own combat power. For example, in a certain world that covers the sky, the great emperor has the power of the gods, but his lifespan is only 10,000 years. Uchiha Ran's current life level is the supreme level of the world, but his combat power can compete with the supreme Earth Immortal. That is to say, without the fusion of Hogyoku, he is also comparable to Aizen stage 4. Then, if the initial fusion. According to the meaning of Uchiha Ran, Hogyoku turned into a special rune on his forehead, similar to the Eye of the Sky. Uncle Zhao's version of Baolian Lantern or Langshan is similar. Compared with the real Eye of the Sky, Hogyoku is as big as a flood. But it is very useful for Uchiha Ran, whose combat power has reached the limit of the ninja world. Also, Hogyoku has the ability to evolve and help the host evolve. Boom. A force came from between his eyebrows, and Uchiha Ran felt an earth-shaking change in himself. Advertisement. Strength, resilience, speed, etc., have all doubled because, and are still improving, after all, a certain extreme. The main change is in the soul. He felt that his soul had turned into substance at this moment, to the extent that he could still exist in a normal way after leaving his silence, and it was not a pseudo-existence achieved with the help of Chara. It is real. Put it on the different fire continent, it is the soul of the Emperor realm. The soul takes one step ahead of the body and reaches the supreme Earth-level police officer. It's this world that limits me. The ninja world is too weak. If you want to make further breakthroughs, you must either get a better chance from the golden list, or go to a bigger world to get an opportunity. In this way, the strongest combat power in the ninja world, the strength of Otsutsuki Munakata, is also at the peak of mortals, before immortals. Uchiha Ran actually felt the barriers of this world, invisible but tangible. Natural energy is spiritual energy, not fairy energy. Chara is a sidewalk, but she lives a long time and has many means. The Do-Chi of the different fire continent is a low-level aura. The origin chi that different fire continent lacks is also the chi of immortal spirit. If I can reach the big pot world now, I can break through Earth Immortal, Earth Supreme immediately. And, I can use Susanoo to have the supreme Dharma. Uchiha Ran has a clear understanding of his own strength, realm plus combat power. In the world of Tiankong, the supreme Do Sheng has the supreme Dharma body, the Earth Supreme Do Di is the supreme Heaven and Earth Dharma, and the Heavenly Supreme is the spiritual body. In the different fire continent, the Do Sheng could not be found by the master, but to Do Di Jinning, the master Do Di Dharma body, stronger than the supreme Dharma body, weaker than the supreme Dharma form. Ninja world and different fire continent are at the same level of world. Now his physical realm is the peak of Do Sheng, and his soul realm is urgently Do Emperor. As for combat power, it is above ordinary Do Emperor. With Susanoo, he can also show the power of hooking similar to the Dharmakaya. And it can be done at super cage level police. But the price is that the eyes gradually become blind, and not completely. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is the correct way to open, but Susanoo is very crispy. 5 shadows can handle it. Susanoo of the 6 paths level, continue to look at it. But even the Susanoo he showed now is still weak in front of the real Dharma body. After all, the former is formed by relying on its own strength, and the latter is to mobilize the power of heaven and earth, or the way of heaven in Dion world. And now, with Hogyoku, after soul breakthrough, Uchiha Ran feels that he can use natural energy to condense Susanoo to a level similar to the supreme Dharmakaya. Advertisement. Although this Dharma body should not be able to enter the 99th grade, but relying on the special power of the left eye and right eye, the function is more powerful. Now, although he has not yet reached his realm, he can press the Emperor to fight, and he can handle the world's supreme master. Chi is called strength. 99. Touching his forehead to dry, Uchiha Ran suppressed his smile. He calmly looked at the gold medal list. Next, he has another list. What surprises will the reward bring to him? At this time, in the live broadcast room of Jinbang, the broadcaster, Zhao Hao, was Orochimaru. 14th place. Amber bottle, one of the ninja tools left by Sage of 6 Paths. As long as it responds to the holder, it will be sealed in the bottle. Owner. Orochimaru. Weapon rewards. Inject natural energy to control the size at will, increase refining ability, increase phagocytosis ability, increase genjutsu attack. Owner reward. Intermediate draw x1. As Orochimaru said, Konoha is a reward for meritorious deeds. To find the 6 paths ninja gear in the hands of the golden and silver horns, Orochimaru has the credit, Tobirama has the credit, but Uchiha Ran has the biggest credit. Therefore, after negotiation, Uchiha Ran won the golden rope, the 7-star sword, the red gourd, and the 3 6 paths ninja tools. Instead, he distributed the banana fan and the amber bottle to Tobirama and Orochimaru. If the 3 6 paths ninja tools in his hand are considered as a whole, he ranks above the banana fan and the amber bottle. If it is not the whole, there will be 3 rewards. Whatever is the most profitable. Now, Orochimaru is half of the list with an amber bottle. In the live broadcast room, the amber bottle has been transformed. There is a disc hook now in front of Orochimaru. He is drawing a lottery. The pointer stopped on the inheritance option for the first time. Orochimaru did not ask Uchiha Ran's opinion. Because of the outbreak of European energy, he was envious of every inheritance option. And now, he was rewarded. From Dragon Ball World. Chapter 170 Crowder Tobirama's inheritance choice is simply gorgeous. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Sasha Dejensdal Vobin, Godslayer World. 2. Indus Magic Forbidden Book Catalog World. 3. Strong, Sorceress, Ekidona, starting from scratch, Otherworld Living World. 4. Kudo Shinichi, Shinigami Elementary School Student World. 5. Silver City, Congo, Shinigami World. 6. Echizen Ryoma, the Prince of Tennis World. 7. Ultraman Gauss Ultraman World. 8. Guiguzi, the World of Shin Dynasty. 9. Dr. Damu Elf World. 10. Yu Shaogang Soul Ring World. The names of the 10 inheritors and the information about the world of Shinshin appeared. Tobirama glanced around and made the exact opposite decision to Orochimaru. 5th generation, can you please introduce these 10 people and the world behind them? If the inheritance is successful, you can also get a one-day trip to the Inherites world as a reward. Relying on this day, Terumi succeeded in a bunch of water-spreading spirits in the garbage belt, and let Uchiha Ran find a chance to sign Groudon as the summoning beast. Relying on this day, Yukinoshiro went to Shinigami World for a day. It is said that Uchiha Ran also participated. I don't know what the layout was. Relying on this day, Uchiha Ran directed Midori Enko to go around the world of pirates, and got a lot of benefits, and also left behind water on the female Emperor Henku, what is said to do. In short, there is a lot that can be done. And when Tobirama saw that he had drawn the inheritance, he became interested in the world of the Inherite. That is also a huge opportunity. It's a pity that he doesn't know much about this small world, so he has a little understanding of the otherworld life angels from scratch, as well as their world, the elf world. This kind of thing requires trouble for Uchiha Ran. At this time, Uchiha Ran's expression was very strange after reading the information of the 10 inheritors. These 10 people, and Tobirama, the smart hand, are also very suitable. Could it be, what kind of thoughtful Jinbang is? The first person, Sasha Dejensdal Vobin, referred to as Vobin, is known as the Old Marquis. It is still a strange world. It is mainly said that all kinds of myths are woven in the world, and myths have created all kinds of gods. The gods should have maintained their original, but not all gods also obey their mythological roles. These are called disobedient gods 95 inches and will bring disaster to the world. Advertisement. Some of the magician grandpas who were able to bring down the disobedient gods were magicians known as Campioni, or god slayers, who possessed divine power and were also known as the Supreme King. Wobin is the eldest demon king in the world of god slayers. He is titled the oldest king. He is a person who takes the initiative to summon the gods of disobedience and seize their powers. He also has the most powers in god slayers. Yes, the proficiency in the use of power is also quite high. This erudition and diverse abilities are very similar to Tobirama, the inventor of forbidden arts in the ninja world. The second inheritor, Indus, came from the world of the magical forbidden book catalog. There is a demon in this world, a powerful existence that Uchiha Ran can't handle now, but the main content of the world is a special city, in which superpower development is listed as part of the school curriculum. 203 80% of the population of 100,000 are students, so it is called Academy City. They compete with each other in the development of superpowers every day. According to their different abilities, they can be divided into 7 levels, from incompetence level 0 to superpower level 5, level 6 is absolute ability. Kamiju Tuma, the protagonist of the story, met a nun on the balcony of his home on a certain summer vacation day. By chance, Your Excellency stepped into a wonderful, beautiful and dark world and started a battle with Masaka Makoto. The nun Kamiju Tuma met was Indus, who had complete memory ability and was a magic book library that had memorized 100,000 crude magic books. Isn't this a magic master? It's the same as Tobirama, the master of forbidden arts. The third inheritor is Strong Desire Ahidona, from the otherworld living world from scratch, so I won't go into details. In the otherworld life world that started from zero, there are witches, among them, the Witch of Lust and Desire is also called the Witch of Greed. She holds the Book of Wisdom, that knows the world, and is the most commanding person in the world. Living libraries such as Parker, Beatrice, and Donna Fox are all artificial elves created by them. The three heroes who sealed the Envy Witch, the Sage Froigel, the Sword Saint Reed, and the Dragon Polkanika, once formed a friendship in Flanders, the city of dragons, and it was also designed by this Ernie. This one also has many means, detached command, and amazing knowledge reserve. Isn't Tobarama very similar to her? The fourth person, Shinichi Kudo, comes from the Shinigami world of elementary school students. Shinigami is a primary school student world, and it shows that it is an ordinary everyday world. But the chaotic timeline made it impossible to believe this. And the existence of Jing Jijin, Belmont and others, why do they feel that this world is not scientific, but Kei Shui? And Kudo Shinichi, the founder of Kei Shui, became a cow after taking poison and became smaller. He is just a high school student who can fly a plane, both helicopters and passenger planes, speedboats, gun skills, invincible football, a little bit of theoretical knowledge, and can play the violin. And all this was learned in a summer vacation. Isn't it scary? This is the science. Just like Sugar Hand Tobarama, he has a good brain and a lot of master knowledge. The fifth person, Ginjo Kugo, comes from the Shinigami world, so I won't say much. Just talking about Ginjo Kongo, he is the leader of the Shinigami World Fullbringers Organization, Execution. He is also the first human being officially recognized by the Soul Society as the first-generation Agent Shinigami. He is also the only medium with dual abilities, Cross Necklace and Shinigami. The Fullbringer of the Agent Certificate asks the Shinigami, the Void, and the Fullbring power in one. There are many means, like a very difficult Tobarama. Advertisement. The sixth inheritor, Echizen Ryoma, comes from the world of the Prince of Tennis. Uchiha Ran would like to say that he is just a bad player. But Kill Tennis was joking with you. If the dimensional ball skills are not the spiritual level but the physical level of the theater version, the ninjas in the ninja world will have to die if they resist, and the six paths level may not be stable. Kidding. And Echizen Ryoma, the Prince of Tennis, can reach the limit of seamless perfection, the limit of radiance, the limit of hard tempering, and the realm of no self to learn all the skills. There are many means. Are you sure it's not like Tobarama? The seventh person, Ultraman, is Ultraman Gauss. This is interesting. In the Ultraman world, there is a power called Rongjon, that is, the current Ultraman can use the previous Ultraman to fuse and transform it into a new form of rhythm field, so there is a name that appears, that is the so-called fusion. Mouth. Strictly speaking, Rongwan Otto was already hooked when Ultraman Taro absorbed the power of the Ultra Brothers and became Super Taro, but the real definition started from Ultraman Obu. 0. Ask for flowers. And Gauss Ultraman, known as the advanced fusion material. Why? Because in the Ultraman worldview, there are four strongest Ultramans, that is, the mysterious four Austrians, who were the king of Ultraman, Ultraman Noah, Ultraman Rigardo and Ultraman Saiga. And Ultraman Gauss participated in the transformation of the two legendary Ultraman. Gossity and Regardo both need him. If there are smart people who kill Gauss ahead of time, the mysterious four will be lost. As an advanced fusion material, Ultraman Gauss also has 5 modes: Luna, Corona, Solar Eclipse, Cosmic Corona, and Future. Isn't it hard to hand Tobarama? The eighth Guiguzi, from the Qin world, was the master of Guini and Wei Zhuang. The common people are painted, the whole world is full of fire, all the suns and hundreds of officials, only I am vertical and horizontal. For 700 years, the 5 hegemons of the spring and autumn period, the 7 heroes of the warring states period, behind the rise and fall of every country and every dynasty, there is a common name, Guigu. The leaders of the past dynasties were called Guiguzi, because of their seclusion in the Ghost Valley. 0. Although the Guiguzi of the past dynasties has the strength of one person, he is stronger than a million teachers. When he is angry, the princes are afraid. When he lives in the world, he will rest. Guiguzi learns everything, including piano, chess, calligraphy and painting, Kuanzi's 6 arts, and arranging troops. Isn't it hard to hand Tobarama? Advertisement. The 9th inheritor, Dr. Damu, came from the world of elves. A very prestigious elf research doctor in the Guandu area, he published the Elf Illustrated Book, and has a few people in the knowledge reserve. He is very prestigious in the whole elf world. With such an existence, is it not difficult to hand Tobarama? The last Yu Shaogang came from the Spirit Ring world. Well, please allow so many good heritage rhymes to show up after a rubbish. This Yu Shaogang is the master of Tang, White-Eyed Wolf, Double Standard Master, 10,000 years Xuantian Gong Cultivator, Third Master, known as the Master, the Dean of the Academy, the National Teacher of the Empire, the Master of Theory, the Wisdom of the Golden Iron Triangle Horns, Big Man. It's not hard at all to play Tobarama. Rough Hands Tobarama is a practical man. The information of these 10 people, as well as the situation of the world behind them, is almost like this. Playing with a bunch of information, Uchiha Ran picked up the teacup and took a sip. Although he was not thirsty, he felt very heavy. While others listened to his popular science, they had a great sense of knowledge. Difficult Hands Tobarama was amazed at Uchiha Ran's erudition, but did not forget to measure. Actually nothing to think about. Indus is just passing on knowledge, whether this knowledge will not be punished in the ninja world, or will it be excluded. Although Kudo Shinichi is Kei Shui, the inheritance of ordinary people is far worse than the other 9 people. The same is true for Echizen Ryoma. No one knows whether dimensional ball skills are the exclusive power of the world. Guiguzi also focuses on erudition. Although his strength is strong, he is also cage level and Chaoying. Dr. Damu's knowledge is aimed at elves, and this can also be ruled out. The one that can be ruled out the most is the 10th. What the hell is you shouting? But that's 6. I choose to ban 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Wisdom Tobarama makes diligent decisions. The next moment, the hands turned. Finally, stay on. Uchiha Ran's eyes widened. Godslayer World. This wave is the midnight jackpot. People. Chapter 171 Marquis of Woban, King of Wolves, Tony, King of Swords. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Godslayer World. Blue Star, East to Continental Europe, Balkans, Peninsula. Boom. 11. The originally clear sky suddenly appeared with countless dark clouds, and blue-violet thunder and lightning fell in the sky, turning into thunderbolts. But when these thunderbolts were about to fall to the ground, they were blown away by a sudden storm. This environment seems to be showing a woman's changing emotions. At this moment, a beam of sunlight penetrated the dark clouds, creating the only area without rain and lightning, and a figure in a suit and leather shoes slowly fell along the sunlight, like the arrival of the King of Heaven and Earth Kun. With the surrounding wind and clouds, he seems to be the master of nature. If someone from the mysterious side of this world is present, they will know that all this is not an illusion. The person who has arrived now looks like an old and wise gentleman on the outside, but in fact he is full of wildness, has super strong physical strength and wolf-like skills, is eager to fight, and is shrewd but not frank. He is the oldest person in the world's current campione, holds the largest number of powers, and has the ability to test gods for entertainment. The full name is Sasha Dajensdal Woban, known as the Marquis of Tianban, and looks like a nobleman on the outside, but in fact, he was not born in ordinary rich children, but a father without, 280. The mother's orphan, who was so poor that it was difficult to buy a piece of bread every day, lived and wandered in various places. The surname of Woban was the name of the bulldog that he thought the Marquis kept in a certain territory he had attacked. Taking this as his surname also reminds himself to be brave and urgent, and never forget the shame. Therefore, Woban seems to be an old aristocrat who thinks he is a gentleman, but he actually likes to play sandbags, practice boxing, exercise muscles and other sports hobbies. He also likes excitement, not the cowardly, the speed of the bully. Woban says he likes wolves more than dogs, and is disgusted by dogs who are submissive and ingratiating, but likes wolves because they sometimes resist and are full of hockey. Of course, this is all in the past that no one knows about. The current Woban is the oldest king, the existence of the King's Wolf King, who has allegiance to the Magic Association Alliance from north to Europe, and is a godslayer. And its ability like wind, rain and thunder and lightning is a power called gust of wind and raging waves. This power is the power that was usurped by Marquis Woban after killing the 3-in-1 wind gods, Feng Bo, Yu Shi, and Lei Gong, in the ancient mythology of Kyushu, and the third power of his own master. Can call the storm and manipulate the power of wind, rain and thunder. Relying on the influence of power, when Woban's mood is high, there will be violent storms around him, and he can drop lightning toward the target like a lightning rod, prevent his clothes from getting wet from the fierce wind and snow, fly freely in the air by manipulating the atmosphere, adjust his surroundings climate and maintain the proper temperature. If used together with the first power, greedy pack of wolves, he can spit thunder and lightning from his mouth, pour his full power into the magic power, and can also control the world-scale weather manipulation from the country for a long time. Destroyed with all-out efforts, you can reduce Dal, a certain country, Matia, and a port city of Dal, an area equivalent to 20 Kyushu and Zhejiang provinces. And this was the strength of Woban when he had only 3 powers nearly 200 years ago. As for now, boom, Woban suddenly turned into a thunderbolt and fell to the ground, and his wise eyes suddenly revealed a wolf-like murderous aura. Salvatore Tony. Advertisement. Good, very good. How dare you take this marquee prey? 97. If it wasn't for the fear of destroying my beloved place, I would never have exposed this matter easily. Wait, when the battle with Luo Hao ends, it will be your death. Is it true that a godslayer won't die? Woban's whole body was filled with murderous aura. The dark clouds spread out in an instant, covering the entire European continent. Okay, continental south, in the Magic Society. A blonde looking about 24 raised his sunglasses, looked up at the dark clouds covering the whole of Europe, and grinned. It seems that the old Marquis is really angry this time. 99. Obviously I just want to fight, I just want to find an opponent. The young man laughed heartily, with grievance in his voice. Beside them, the corners of the mouths of several senior members of the Magic Association twitched. This, King of Swords, was just a knight a few years ago. After defeating the God King, Silver Arm Nuada, he was granted the qualification of a Demon King because he was not interested in anything other than fighting. The real warrior is respected by them as the leader of the alliance. But in the past few years, they also found that this King of Swords is a complete troublemaker. For example, just around, after getting the news that Marquis Woban was holding a ceremony to summon the god of disobedience and wanted to add a new power, he secretly ran over to ambush, and then Shantian Ban killed the god of disobedience in one step. The result is that Woban has worked hard for more than 10 years to collect items that can summon the god of hook incompetence, which is cheaper for Anton. This King of Wolves, can you be in a good mood? But the King of Swords didn't have the slightest sense of doing anything wrong, and he even greeted Woban's anger with Chongchong, and the two sides fought directly. Because Woban was very angry, Although the two sides did not directly work hard, they also passed the trial stage, and at least 50% of their combat power was used. As a result, several islands were destroyed, the tsunami swept through, and countless port cities were destroyed. If it weren't for various special reasons that prevented Woban from rhyming with all his strength, no one knows whether the European continent would be destroyed in this one. They originally wanted to support a puppet. But now it's all right, I'm responsible for wiping my butt every day. Your Majesty, the Marquis will fight against the Master Luo Hao of Kyushu in a few months to compete for the strongest position. It's a good thing that you don't have a big hand this time, you can bend it and play it again. 1. A senior executive of the Magic Society whispered. Demon King, possessing the ability to destroy the world, no matter how easy it is to talk, they would not dare to slap their noses on their faces. No, Tony waved. Just kidding, what did you do to tease the Marquis of Woban? Advertisement. Wouldn't it be nice to get a foot in when he and Luo Hao fought? Playing with one is not as comfortable as playing with two. When he first became the Demon King, he also fought against Luo Hao. This martial arts king used countless swordsmanship to reach a tie with him, and he always remembered it. In recent years, his strength has improved a lot, and he has just grabbed a new power, so he must give it a try. What? At this moment, the dark clouds in the sky disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Tony said with a slight disappointment. It seems that the most important thing for the old Marquis eyesight is to defeat Luo Hao, even if he robs him of power, he can endure it. Several high-level magicians next to him heard the words and rolled their eyes in their hearts. If not, could you sit here and drink red wine with peace of mind? Who doesn't know that the Marquis of Woban does a few things all day long, practicing boxing, exercising, doing all kinds of sports, Kabuto style, and then trying to find the god of disobedience, and even summoning the god of disobedience to increase his power 0. And the ultimate goal of all this is to defeat the martial arts king in Kyushu. As long as Woban doesn't fight Luo, he will fight you to death now. The god of insubordination in the hands of Vorban. This is no district policeman like taking food in the mouth of the hungry wolf king. At this time, what Tony didn't know was that although Woban restrained himself, his anger was quickly dissipated. The reason for withdrawing was because a light curtain suddenly appeared in front of him. Ninja World Gold List. Talk to otherworld creatures. The other party wants to obtain my inheritance, but it needs my consent. I can give the inheritance alone, or I can give it all. Can I also ask the other party for something? Quote. Woban quickly digested the information in his mind. He has no doubts about the existence of the Golden List. Because Jin Bang is transmitting information, but also suppressing his strength. He felt the weakness before becoming a Godslayer, which even Luo Hao couldn't do. That is power beyond the Godslayer. He felt that even if it existed in the legend, the last king who wanted to clean up all the Godslayers was not so strong. At least, there is no chance for him to resist, right? So, he believed. According to the investigation of the old man, the dimension really exists, and if you can defeat the last king, you can have the ability to travel in the dimension. No matter how strong I am, I can't destroy the world, I can only destroy the world and clean the world. Advertisement. Originally, I wanted to keep increasing my power, trying to get close to the power that could destroy the planet with one blow. This may be the chance. Wisdom gleamed in the wolf's eyes. The old Marquis became interested in Otherworld. He chose to switch on the light curtain. The golden list starts to link. Information starts to transmit. Open black lens bracket trading time starts. Close black lens bracket. 10 o'clock. 9:59. Opening parenthesis ... closing parenthesis. A human figure appeared in the light curtain. Going around, Tobarama saw the Marquis of War 1.5. And the Marquis saw Uchiha ran and joined hands with Tobarama. Let me see your abilities. Water style ninjutsu, fire style ninjutsu, earth style ninjutsu, lightning style ninjutsu, wind style ninjutsu, intergroup ninjutsu. Magic-like existence, destructive power, boring. The corners of Woban's eyes showed a lighthearted look. Difficulty. Tobarama's face twitched. Endure. Countless people face twitching. Not even second Hokage's ninjutsu. Seems like a boss. This one's strength is similar to Kagaya after swallowing the fruit. But the combat experience is richer than Madara's, and the combat talent is sharper than the first generation. 99. Uchiha Ran's voice sounded at the right time. Everyone's heart is tight. When they listened to Uchiha Ran's introduction to the world of the Godslayer, they knew that the Demon King in this world was not easy. To understand a wave, it is probably that ordinary people kill Sage of Six Paths and directly possess its strength. But they didn't expect to reach the peak height directly beyond Otsutsuki Kagaya. At this time, Woban looked at Uchiha Ran, his eyes gleaming. You are very strong. Of course, Uchiha Ran Shao. Hitting you is the same as playing. Chapter 172. Turn on the two-world spectator mode, and the Devil's Shake. Subscribe. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What? Hearing Uchiha Ran's words, Woban's expression was stunned for a moment, and then he sneered. Beating yourself is the same as playing. This joke is not funny at all. He is the oldest king, and his strength is only a little worse than the martial arts king in Kyushu. This side is definitely the second strongest in the world, and has survived for more than 300 years as the king of wolves. Luo Hao was only slightly better at the beginning, but now he has the feeling of surpassing. Uchiha Ran wants to win over himself, sure it's not a joke. The advantage of words is meaningless, come to fight. Uchiha Ran spoke again before Woban sneered. Interesting. Woban sneered. As you wish, I will give you death. How to do? Challenge. Uchiha Ran said to Tobirama, the hand of the stall. Okay. Difficulty. Tobirama did as he was told. The police saw that Uchiha Ran was good at talking, but in the face of absolute strength, he could only obey before the real thing. What? Woban saw a message from the light curtain. It is a challenge application. After agreeing, both the inheritor and the inheritee will enter the special space of the golden list to fight. No matter what happens during the period, it will only be a moment for the outside world. But this is just an operation method, which is a secret operation method. Correspondingly, there is a fully open operation mode. What's the meaning? It means that there is no time limit for the duel. After the inheritor and the inheritor enter the special space of the golden list, the battle screen of the two sides will be presented in the sky above their respective worlds, and everyone will watch it from an absolute perspective. It's just that there is a premise to enable this method, so it was not mentioned before. The premise is that a certain person on both sides of the battle has a pivotal position in their own world. Small luck is not good, must be the atmosphere of the scene. For example, in the ninja world, only Naruto and Sasuke have great luck, and after that is the Otsutsuki clan. The others have only stingy luck, and the district police are their opponents. This can be seen from the strength of the hook. Even if the strength of the top few in the whole world cannot be achieved, who dares to say that he is lucky? And Woban, as the first new king in this parallel world of god slayers, the oldest king, has become a godslayer with the god of orphans, and can try to kill gods for entertainment, even in the future with the son of luck Kusanagi Godu was defeated in the battle, and even the body left in the netherworld dissipated. It was once thought to be completely dead, but it did not really fall. After losing his body and his soul was about to disappear, Woban came to a parallel world of another time axis. He held reincarnation rituals for several years to achieve resurrection. His appearance returned to about 25 years old and became younger. Although he lost some powers, he gained a new life, new powers. This is definitely the big luck. So, after he promised to fight Tobirama, the smart hand, the second mode could be activated. And he also chose this mode. Hit me the same as playing. Advertisement. This marquee will make you look ugly in the Western world. 93. Watch me crush you. Woban's eyes turned cold and he made a request to Jinbang. He didn't question himself fighting the tough Tobirama, why Uchiha Ran could intervene. First of all, it's not hard to guess. Although he despises the magic-like ninjutsu of Master Tobirama, his masters, Darkness Technique, Rebirth Technique, Flying Thunder God Technique, Tandem Paper Bombs Technique, and Summoning Beast, I'm very interested in the secret arts. One deprives vision, one can turn strong, and one space ninjutsu. All are good assists. The summoning technique is not difficult to understand. Open battle. Waisho Tobirama was stunned and looked towards Uchiha Ran. Promise. Uchiha Ran nodded late. Naturally, he knew what the battle could open up to. Also saw Woban's plan. Difficulty. Tobirama nodded and agreed. Next moment. Boom. Two worlds. Ninja world, blue star. Godslayer world, blue star. Hooks have a huge impact on the skies around the world. Obviously it is a spherical planet, but in every region, every city, and any existence, you can see the situation in the sky when you look up. The battle is open. The ninjas and civilians of the ninja world looked expectant. The golden list has been announced twice, and there are not one or two people who have received inheritance. The information that the inheritor and the inheritee can fight in a special space is not a secret. Even because of the existence of the golden list, this is completely public news. It also includes things that can be realized in battle. But so far, no one has ever done that. One is the so-called big luck person, which is not so easy to be hooked. Second, all smart people know that they have trump cards, so who will show their strength in front of outsiders without reservation? The two sides silently ended the battle in the golden space, and the outside world continued for a second. Isn't that bad? Unexpectedly, I can see a battle with the otherworld powerhouse in a few days. How is 5th Hokage going to record this love battle? Mabuyi next to 4th generation Ichao asked suspiciously. Summoning. Advertisement. Azabuyi looked at the calm expressions of everyone around him, knowing that only Raikage didn't know about it, and said a little speechlessly, Master Ran has remade the mark of the Flying Thunder God, and the person who has been branded into Zara can perform a summoning similar to summoning. If Jinbang counts Dai-sama in 2nd Hokage's strength, then this way you can enter the Jinbang battle space. If the gold list doesn't count, then there's the summoning scroll, which definitely counts, after all, it's a weapon. 4th generation I suddenly realized. It turns out that there is such a way to expose the battle between the inheritor and the inheritee. If this is the case, isn't it possible that anyone who has obtained inheritance can find help in this way? 4th generation I asked. Yes, boss. Azabuyi nodded expressionlessly. Aren't these things well known? Forget it, I still look forward to the performance of the next adult. I hope that what Woban can force out a bit of strength from Lord Ran. At the same time, Godslayer world, the sudden roar of the hook, as well as the impressions that appeared all over the world, attracted everyone's attention. What is that? A mirage? Have stereoscopic imaging technology achieved this step? Get your phone and take a picture. 9. Little spicy pot, look at my SLR. I want to upload a circle of friends. Hey, the internet has already revealed the news. Countless people were shaken by the images in the sky. But in the peaceful era and the scientific era, most people regard it as a mirage. But as time goes by, the hot searches on major search engines and online platforms have become mirages. No matter where people find the pictures taken, even if they are in two hemispheres, the situation has not changed. Everyone realizes that something is not right. Of course, before them, a small number of people saw the voice of Marquis Vauban in the mirage and realized that something was wrong. The Magic Association, the headquarters of the Bronze Black Cross, as the highest knight, constantly fighting against the Black Prince Alec, has the title of Red Devil, and is teaching his niece Erica's commander Paul Bronte, suddenly looked up. What vision is this? Wolf King. Is there anything the King of Wolves wants to do? Paul's expression became solemn. Even though he is famous, he once defeated the ancient city of Lancaster with a divine annihilation of words and spirits, and after becoming a holy annihilation, he reached Arrhenius, the goddess who never obeyed. The 6 mythical beasts released from the hook guard the legend of the sleeping Princess Alice. But before the god of disobedience, he is nothing. And in front of the Godslayer, he is even weaker. What Woban was going to do, he could only be frightened. Uncle, Erica looked at the sky with a serious expression, holding a long sword. Godslayer, Demon King, advertisement. Once the ancestors reached heights. What's going to happen? The other side. The head of the Bronze Black Cross headquarters of the Magic Association and the Napoli branch of the Bronze Black Cross, Diana Milito, who was teaching disciple Liliana Lanichal swordsmanship, suddenly raised her head at this time. Wolf King. Liliana's expression condensed. This is the King of Wolves. Although the Demon King can be difficult to try. But the Wolf King is definitely the most difficult and the one who likes to make rhyme things the most. What is this one going to do? Contact immediately and ask about the situation. Diana ordered her opponent. It is not a secret for them that Woban was robbed by Anton of the god of disobedience. It is possible for this Demon King to do anything crazy now. Hajime, the historiography committee. 280 is about to enter the 3rd year of high school, but he is also about to become the head of the Eastern Capital Branch office of the Official History Compilation Committee. As one of the harem witches, Saya Gongsheng looks at the future subordinate Yima Amaka, who dares to come to his side, and solemnly said, This is this. Is this the King of Wolves from continental Europe? What is he doing in Hajime? I don't know, but you need to be vigilant. Amakusa Yima said in a serious voice. As a small country without god slayers, they can only obey, pray, and submit to the Demon King. At the same time, the Council of Sages, the Duke of Godin, Jijin, commonly known as Princess Alice, the former speaker of the Council of Sages of Green Niji, is now a special police advisor. Alice Lewis of Nefaltau, known as the White Priestess. SSI, J. Milburn looks up. The old lady of the Magic Association, the female wolf of the Magic Association, the capital of 100 questions, the Lord of the Flies. There was a place where everyone looked up in horror, not knowing what Vorban was going to do. They don't know what's going on around the world, they just think that Woban is in their sphere of influence and what to do. At the same time, Salvatore Tony soared up and laughed. Woban still can't help it, or do you want to fight? In the lighthouse country, John Pluto Smith, wearing a professional attire with his legs crossed, pushed his glasses. Phantom. Old Marquis, do you want to experience my sorcery again, or do you want to do something? Inside the Wangley factory, Alexander Gascoigne, who was enjoying the food he made by himself, put down the red wine in his hand, took up the handkerchief and wiped his mouth very elegantly, and asked in confusion, Old Marquis, was blown up by Anton and made a mess. Iskandri, who lives in seclusion and is known as the Queen of the Devil's Cave, Mrs. Aisha continued her work without raising her eyes. I am very gentle. 99. Although the first person to cause trouble. At the same time. Lucian Deep Yamanaka, in a small nunnery. Kun Linwu Peak, the leader of the 5 prisons sacred sect, the martial arts king of Zhongnan in China, the mortal enemy of Sasha Dajinsdal Woban, who existed for more than 200 years, was born in the Manchu Qing dynasty but insisted on wearing hanfu. Roman opened his closed eyes. Werban, can't wait to admit the humiliation of defeat. Chapter 173 Battle against Marquis Vauban. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Master. Aside from the grass reed, there was a man's respectful voice. When it's time for you to work. Boom. Before the man could finish speaking, a palm composed of gold particles appeared, and the hooked fingers pointed at his forehead. Facing this scene, the man's eyes froze, and he tried his best to perform a quick retreat, avoiding the blow. Call. The man, Lu Huaying, Luo Hao's direct disciple, breathed a sigh of relief. He was beaten by his master Luo Hao since he was a child, and his light skills have grown day by day. Although he is not as good as his master Luo Hao, he is much stronger than 5 of his 6 kings, and his level of martial arts is also stronger. If it weren't for the Godslayer's endless means, and he was close to immortality, he might not be an opponent. It is a pity that the master does not allow him to try to kill the god of disobedience for the time being. Finally, I can get more casual blows from the master. The corner of Lu Huaying's mouth slightly curved. But the next moment, he was dumbfounded. Boom. There was a loud bang from behind. His body was hooked forward, turning his golden fingers straight. Boom. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and Lu Huaying flew upside down to the top of a mountain hundreds of miles away and stopped. Woman. Beautiful woman. It really is a terrifying creature. Lu Huaying's body trembled, and he hated women even more. But this did not prevent him from respecting Luo Hao's teacher. At this time, among the grass and reeds, Luo Hao got up from the website and stretched lazily, showing off his beautiful figure, with an extremely cute face, as well as a hanfu and ball head, blooming. Extraordinary charm. Void, the new ability of the old marquis. This is to declare war on me, Luo Hao's eyes narrowed slightly. Only in the shadow of the giant Manos Grande, the environment begins to change. The environment is a bird's eye view. They are two identical alpine islands, no smaller than a province in Kyushu, and between these two islands is an endless ocean. Over the ocean, there is no sun, but there is light shining down. Very strange scene. Ordinary people realize that this is no mirage. I have never heard of a mirage that has to advance the plot. 99. The culprit who made Luo Hao cough lightly, the hook of Tobarama's figure was now on the top of a mountain on a certain island, and looked at Woban who was flying in the air not far away. Have seen the old marquis. Rough hand Tobarama nodded to Vorban. Advertisement. And his voice sounded directly in the two worlds. This directly shocked countless people. What's the situation? Isn't it a mirage or a stereoscopic image? Why is there still sound? And it seems to ring in the ear, very strange. What about the arrogant ones? The old marquis glanced at Tobarama. Although this, moth ant, master has some abilities that he also finds interesting, this does not change the fact that he is a moth ant. In their world, there are no longer a few people with various peculiar abilities, but they are not in his eyes. In front of absolute strength, in front of the power of the Demon King, there is nothing. Not everyone is Luo Hao. Old marquis knows that he can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. A voice suddenly sounded. When everyone saw it, a figure lay beside Tobarama, also suspended in the air. This man carried his arms on his back, with outstanding temperament, delicate facial features, handsome appearance, and a strange rune between his eyebrows that added a mysterious color. He was wearing some black battle uniforms, showing his full body. This is a man who makes countless women want to sit on the ground to ovulate just by looking at him. Endless charm. Okay. Luo Hao Gujing Bubo's eyes showed interesting colors. Self-confidence narcissism is like her. She is convinced that she is the most beautiful person in the world, has the most lovely face, and on this basis also has noble blood, Yanwang, strong inheritance, martial arts and magic, and a strong identity, martial arts, alliance leader, never think that he has a man who can be worthy of him. No, ordinary men see her as a gift. But now, in terms of bearing an appearance, she feels that Ran is qualified to stand by her side and eat with her. As for more gifts, it depends on the strength of this man and whether he has the calmness to face Woban at the moment. More haste less speed. Kyushu language, are you from Kyushu? Warban frowned. Because of Luo Hao's relationship, Kyushu is a restricted area for him. This made him very uncomfortable. Sadly, there are still places in the world that I can't go to. Not happy with Luo Hao's birthplace. But the most unpleasant thing is that there are many myths in Kyushu, and it is easy to get rid of the god who can't catch him. He has two powers from Kyushu. This opportunity was cut off by Luo Hao. The reason why he was obsessed with defeating Luo Hao and wanted to freely enter Kyushu to hunt the god of disobedience was also a major reason. Yes, I am from Kyushu. Dai answered frankly. He didn't lie. After opening the Mangekyo Sharingan, the Emperor Kiki was awakened, and he knew a lot of things. For example, the reason for crossing is the credit of Emperor Kiki, who merged with the right eye. And the original Uchiha Ran was swallowed up by Emperor Kiki and turned into one of his powers. His bloodline remains unchanged. Advertisement. With the power of Kiki Emperor's vision and health, he can continue to devour more blood, ability, time, and turn it into his own skills. When did my Kyushu show such a character? Luo Yang's voice sounded beside Lu Huaying. The latter is not surprising. His own master, Master Shukudi, divine foot ability, is a teleportation alchemy. Before becoming a god killer, you can teleport to the next mile, but after becoming a god killer, your strength continues to improve. Now anywhere on earth, she can reach in one step. Master, the disciples don't know either. Lu Huaying bowed his head. Those who are not afraid of Wo Ban's existence will not be a match made by an unknown generation. Interesting. Luo Hao spit out two words, and the decoration looked at the void. At this time, Ran also asked indifferently, do you directly obliterate you, or make you feel hopeless? Question mark question mark question mark. In the Godslayer world, all those who knew Woban's identity were dumbfounded. Killing the demon king of the godless god, only the demon king can kill him, but it is also very difficult. Now someone actually asks, do you want to die directly, or do you want to die slowly? It's too crazy. If you can do it, come. 99. Woban laughed and opened his hands to Ran. Boom. In this space, dark clouds rose for no reason, thunder and lightning emerged, and the wind was blowing. Stormy waves emerged at the sea level. The light was instantly swallowed up. Contrary to Woban's performance, he was extremely angry at this moment. For many years, he has not been so despised. The power of my god of disobedience in Kyushu, you use it very well. Ran's eyes narrowed slightly, and he smiled. As a price, please welcome death. The next moment, his dark eyes turned into Mangekyo Sharingan. The left eye made contact with Woban. 5 senses rule. Feel, touch, XXX. 99. In the spotlight, including Woban himself, only foolishly found himself chanting words, and then condensed a dagger in both hands. Spirit of speech is not necessary to manifest power. Singing the spirit of words can only activate the power, so as to better exert the power of the power. For the most ancient king, not chanting words is nothing. Another example is Luo Hao, who used his powers very rarely. Most of the time, he used the body of a godslayer to use martial arts and alchemy, and he could easily fight against the kings. And this also caused her to use her powers. Most of them still need to sing the spirit of words, otherwise she would not have the strength of her own. And now, Woban sings words. Use your power to break the knot of fate. This is the new power he usurped from the guardian of the oracle, Eldias. If you can destroy the indestructible you can kill the indestructible gods and demons, and have the power to cut off the established destiny. Advertisement. Power can be used as a dagger to cut off the shackles that should not be broken, invalidate the power of manipulating cause and effect, and cause them to suffer fatal injuries. In layman's terms, he can use this power to kill the godslayer. Under normal circumstances, godslayers would not be fooled to stand in and be killed, so there is no such situation. But now, Woban found that his body and soul were separated, and his body was out of control. No, his soul's attempt to become a black dragon also failed Lu, indicating that the soul was also controlled. He's still a master, only hearing and seeing. PFF'd. Under the watchful eyes of countless people, the dagger pierced into the heart on the left side of the chest. The power that can cut off destiny emerges, and Woban feels that all 5 senses have returned, but his body has lost the connection with all the powers of Uchiha, and he has become an ordinary person. Blood flowed from the position of the chest. He felt pain. Also felt life passing. Instant kill. This moment. The people in the ninja world didn't react much. To be precise, the reaction, with money, is not as big as when the world changed color. But on the contrary, all those who knew Woban's identity in the Godslayer world lost their minds. Hey, are you kidding me? Tony, who had always been smiling brightly and thinking about fighting all day, showed his panicked expression for the first time. Annie Charlton lost her glasses and felt that she had been caught in the most proud sorcery. For the first time, Gascoigne lost his mind about the food he was cooking. Mrs. Elsa couldn't keep her gentle appearance any longer. The biggest reaction was Luo Hao. Could it be that the concubine has slept for hundreds of years? That is Tianban, the oldest king, the first of their group of god killers. The strength is stable in the top 3. Existing like this, actually, after being died with a glare. Suicide. And the special kill was successful. It is said that the god tester is immortal and immortal, just like paper. At this time, Ran waved his hand and controlled Woban to draw his dagger. The light rose, and Woban was healed. This situation made him bewildered. How is it? Are you still fighting? Asked in a playful tone. Woban, think of the 2 worlds spectator mode that you have opened. He understands that he is social. No, his face as the oldest king must be recovered. There's a game coming, Woban said solemnly. This time, you are not allowed to use the means to control me. All. Chapter 174. Woban staged a fancy way of death. Luo Hao wants to kill Sun Wukong. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This old marquis, who has lived longer than a concubine, did it all use it to look good. On top of Mount Lu, Luo Hao stepped on the void, and his face became light. The mere king of wolves, in front of the big Kyushu experts, is nothing but a clown. But who is this mysterious Kyushu powerhouse? I didn't expect Woban to master the method of killing the Godslayer, but even so, he couldn't escape control. 33. And this kind of control, does it dominate the body, or is it together with the soul? Woban behaved so shamelessly that he couldn't resist. With such strength, could it be better than me? A dignified look flashed in Luo Hao's beautiful eyes. She is confident to the point of narcissism, but not so conceited that she cannot see power clearly. Otherwise, she would not have allowed Sun Wukong to be raised by the Japanese for 100 years, waiting for the moment of verdict. She asked herself that she was stronger than all the god slayers, but she was still not invincible, and she was limited in being able to defeat the Wolf King. At least she was not very sure of killing the opponent. K-Ran didn't take any serious angler, and made Woban commit suicide with just one glance. The gap is too big. Perhaps, he is good at controlling, and Woban is not good at this, and is restrained. Luo Hao thought of a possibility. This is also Woban's idea, so he has the cheek to propose another fight. Hey, this 7th devil is a bit powerful. And Dong's eyes were fiery, and he was gearing up. He has already regarded Ran as a newly born god killer, the situation in the sky as Ran's means of power, and also attributed Woban's failure to being restrained. Surprised, he fought fiercely. The place in the sky image is obviously an independent space, and there may not be human beings, buildings, or even living things. Isn't this the best place to ask them to fight against the gods? You can hook your hands with all your strength without fear of causing any damage. That's absolute power. There are misunderstandings like Anton, and naturally there are people like Anne and Gascoigne who see through the truth. They feel that the die is not exerting power, but its own power. In other words, a non-godslayer actually killed the oldest king in seconds. What if this person becomes a godslayer? Cannot imagine. And even these god testers have the mentality of Lucan, and the members of the Magic Society, such as Erica and Liliana, are even more frightened in their hearts. They were ants in front of Woban. In front of the powerhouse who killed Woban in seconds. What is it? As you wish. Rand smiled lightly, not caring what Woban said. With the strength of his current inferior medium rough world plane Tianwagang, it is very easy to deal with the small rough world smallpox of Woban. Then I'm welcome. Woban's eyes turned cold, and he directly displayed his power, Wolf of Greed. Boom. Under the gaze of Vientiane, Woban's body was shrouded in black mist, and it swelled rapidly, spreading for several miles in the blink of an eye. In the dark fog, along with a pair of lanterns with big dark green eyes, Woban turned into a demon wolf, with a body length of more than 50 meters, like a huge monster in the Ultraman universe. Advertisement. The ferocious aura shocked the audience and made countless people tremble across the image. Blessing of light. A ray of light appeared on the surface of the giant wolf's body. This was the all-powerful self-defense power, and it had high resistance to the attributes of the sun. And Woban himself is the use of the power, wind and rage. Although there is no chanting spirit, it is a skill between the two power groups, and its power is huge. A pillar of thunder and lightning with a thickness of several meters was hooked from the mouth of the giant wolf, roaring and dying. Stab. The lightning beam passed through the air, and even the space was slightly twisted, and in the blink of an eye, it was not far away. This made countless ninjas in the ninja world tremble with fear. As far as Woban's random blow is concerned, compared to the tailed beast cannon that the tailed beast ADBF uses to swallow the tailed beast jade, it is not weak. And looking at the dark cloud system that has become more and more dense in the space, even a country will be shrouded. The lightning beam is the embodiment of power gathering. It didn't take a second to come to Uchiha Ran. But right now. Meow. Ran stretched out a hand and snapped his fingers. Everyone felt that the world pressed the slow release button. The huge lightning beam suddenly stopped when it was still 10 feet away from Ran, and then began to advance at the speed of a ghost. Woban's green wolf's eyes shrank, and he was determined to increase his strength, but found that he couldn't do anything. Meow. Ran snapped his fingers again. The next moment, everyone saw his figure disappear, and when he appeared, he had already arrived on the giant wolf incarnated by Woban. Space travel. No, it's time speeding up. In the time that ordinary people can't see, Ran is slowly walking to Woban's side, but the world where all this is spent has been shortened countless times. Goodbye then. Under Woban's terrified and unbelievable gaze, Ran stretched out his right hand, held it in the shape of a pistol, and pointed at the center of Woban's eyebrows. Boom. The sound of gunshots resounded between heaven and earth, and it also sounded around everyone following the influence. Nothing earth-shattering, but everyone could see that the huge pillar of thunder began to dissipate, and the body of the Woban giant wolf and the surrounding black fog disappeared in the blink of an eye. No, it's backwards. Woban returned to his original appearance, not even his expression changed. Eventually, right after that, he started getting younger. The emerald eyes, the intellectual face, the breath of the beast are still alive, and the appearance has returned to the age of 25 and become young, standing upside down with short silver hair. All pupils shrink. Is this rejuvenation? Is there any benefit to being beaten down? As the party involved, Woban was not happy at all. He felt that the power in his body was disappearing, and the power was concerned about losing one by one, until he finally turned into a god, and even before he was born. What? The next moment, the people watching the battle were also terrified, because Woban had changed from a youth to a teenager. Advertisement. Followed by from a teenager to a child. Young children. Baby. At this point continue to stop. Old Marquis, you were quite cute when you were young. Ran Yan teased. He is now using the time-devouring ability. Under normal circumstances, as the world is swallowed up, people will become more and more, until the end of their lives, they will turn into ashes and drift away. But God Bin is a bunch of immortal monsters, theoretically having countless lifespans, so when the time of being swallowed ends, they take a backward approach and end at the end. Warbin. His body became smaller, but his consciousness remained the same. Cute. Well, now his social death is more complete. Snapped. Rand snapped his fingers again. The next moment, everything is restored. Quote. Single quote. Feeling the power of returning after disappearing again, Woban clenched his fists, with awe at Ran. At this moment, he is sure about Ran that he can kill him. The two are not of the same order of magnitude. Even the last king who existed in the legend to destroy the Godslayer may not be his opponent. The power to manipulate time. This is the King of Kings. The power of time. Slow down, speed up, and devour. So strong. Looking at Uchiha Ran who played Woban between his palms, Luo Hao's eyes had a brilliance that Hook had never seen before. As narcissistic as she is also aware of the gap between herself and Ran at this moment. This is not a man worthy of himself. But a man who can be worthy of himself. A man stronger than a concubine. A man stronger than a concubine. A blush of intoxication appeared on Luo Hao's face, and his delicate body couldn't help shaking. An unprecedented experience that made every cell of her tremble incomparably. I really want to meet. If it were him, he would definitely be able to take care of Sun Wukong at will. Luo Hao desperately wanted to see Ran in his heart. Sun Wukong is her biggest obsession right now. This is obviously a national hero, but after coming as a god of disobedience, he is willing to be raised and played by Japanese people. In Luo Hao's view, this is an unforgivable sin. Knowing the existence of this kind of guy and leaving it alone will damage the name of the leader of the martial arts alliance. She has been waiting for the moment of verdict a long time ago, and she encountered him even more than 100 years ago, trying to break the seal of the secret place in Radao, and the ancestral temple and the surrounding shrines have also been blasted into Xiaoxiao, but in the end, due to some concerns, he did not rush into the netherworld corridor and failed. If it is died, you can easily wipe the island from the blue star, right? Advertisement. Are you still coming? Ran asked Woban. Come FK. Woban said we were not a class police officer at all. However, dying and killing him is done through powerful means, not power, physical complexity. Woban felt that if it was just positive, he could force it. And the means of his own soul did not show. It seems dissatisfied. Ran liked to see Wo's thoughts, and his eyes narrowed. Susano. Boom. A huge golden figure rose from the ground and instantly turned into a sky-high existence that could touch the sky. This body, at least listen to Zhang. 3 brown rice. Watching this scene, Woban was dumbfounded. Luo Yang's Hercules power. No, it's much stronger than that. At the same time. On the top of Mount Lu, Luo Hao's beautiful eyes widened. This is the law of heaven and earth. This man has killed Sun Wukong. P.S. The world and the strength of the smallpox-wide setting. Hengsha world, ordinary people, no aura. Small rough world. Middle circle world. Big pay world. Chaos world. Among them, there is a trilemma in the big, medium and small worlds. Each world has a small police officer with a different ceiling. Tiny world. Next. Jindan martial arts Jindan Tianren Wenyi, different fire continent Duwang. Middle. Yuanying martial Dao Yuanying, land immortal, different fire continent Katakana middle dot emperor. Top. Washan martial Dao Yuanshan, shattered void, different fire continent, Duzong ascension. Zongyan world. Next. Earth immortal, Do Di ancestral realm, Earth supreme ascension. Middle. Tianxian Tian Zhijun, Zishan emperor, perfect supreme. Top. True immortal, perfect true immortal, covering the sky, red dust immortal, true immortal peak battle strength. Catastrophe world. Next. Deluo Jinxian, perfect immortal emperor, Deluo Daoguo. Middle. Hunyuan Jinxian, 3 quarts Shuquan Sheng, sacrificial Dao. Above. Hunyuan Deluo Jinxian, Saint Wen Yu Tian Dao strikes. Chaos world. Tian Dao class. Avenue level. Chapter 175 hard power explodes. Luo Hao appears to intervene. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. No, no. It's not the law of heaven and earth. Luo Hao shivered over his illegal career line with a cute and foul face, and his dark eyes contained wisdom. Sun Wukong's law, heaven and earth, she has personally experienced it. The current Monkey King should be called the Monkey God Kun rather than the Monkey King. He is the incarnation of the monkey, the protector of the dragon, and has infinite supernatural powers in his body. The magic power of Tosho Daikwan is bound by the divine power of the present, and it is also enshrined. It is no problem to say that Hishima used conspiracy and tricks to seize the incarnation of the god of disobedience and become a pirated version of Monkey King. And the reason why she must get rid of this ape god Kun is because she has the power to show her original appearance, she can reveal the truth and reveal the true power of rhyme. In this case, Sun Wukong is still willing to stay in Radao, isn't this a fall? As the leader of the Kyushu Martial Arts Alliance and the king of martial arts, this is her duty. 100 years ago, she had already played against the monkey god Kun rhyme, which led to this imposter, not long enough to come to the event. In that battle, she performed the power that she had usurped from 2 Buddhist monks, Vajrasana, and King Narayan Solidarity, the Vajra divine power. By hosting the power of the King Kong Lux on his body, he obtained the unparalleled strength, and relied on martial arts to suppress the monkey god Kun, causing him to exert his power to burst into his true body, and to exert his power, Dharma, heaven and earth. At that time, Sun Wukong's body only recovered from 50 centimeters to more than 1 meter, and then swelled to 2 brown rice, directly against the clouds, and was in a real state, but a large amount of supernatural power was lost. And she also transformed the essence of Vajra power. It is specially designed to be released and transformed into golden particles. Gold particles are immutable and can form anything, such as playing with the golden palm of his apprentice Lu Huaying, or wrapping around his body like armor to protect himself. With a little bit of defense, he can easily reach Salvatore Tony's severing all things, the magic sword. The golden particles can also summon 2 huge Vajra warriors. In combat, the King Kong warriors holding weapons can perform the martial arts of the hook summoner. These 2 Vajra warriors can reach a maximum height of 3,000 meters, which is an absolute giant. But the bigger the body, the lower the strength. If not, after defeating the monkey god Kun, she would not allow him to tour Hajime. So, the fake Monkey King is also very powerful. And the law of heaven and earth, I have seen it. Now Ran is not because she has become incomparably huge, but like her golden particles, a special power is formed into a huge body. This kind of body has no upper limit in theory, as long as the controller is strong enough, it can be improved infinitely. Concubine. I remember him talking about Susano, it seems that Hajime has the ability. Is this person a godslayer? With Roman's eyesight, he naturally quickly saw that the power that Ran used in the confrontation with Woban came from herself, just like her martial arts and alchemy, rather than following power. But this Susanoo is like the power of power. In Hishima mythology, there is Susanoo. If this is the case, then the concubine is more and more fond of this man. 93. Luo Hao interjected lightly, with a smile on his face. Learning the ability of the strange small country, she will see clearly. But she likes it very much to gain power from the god of disobedience who plunders other nations. Lu Ying got up slowly, looked at Luo Hao's appearance at this time, and mourned for Dai in his heart. The man targeted by her master must be cold. The battle of the Godslayer is not a game of body size. Otherwise, the old man will leave when he sees Luo Hao turning his head. The Eye of Sodom. Advertisement. Marquis Vauban's eyes narrowed, and he exerted the power he usurped from the ancient Roman hero as the one-eyed war god, Horatius Coles. Immediately following, his figure quickly retreated, and the distance between him and Susanoo was continuously widened, so that the field of vision was enlarged, allowing the line of sight to capture more. Everyone saw that the surface of the giant Susanoo, who was so high, began to form a pillar of salt, and then dissipated in the violent storm. This scene is extremely spectacular. This guy, the old Marquis, still has some means. Anne murmured. The Eye of Sodom was named after the divine punishment for destroying Sodom in a certain scripture. All creatures that are seen by the eyes, no matter the number or individual, will turn into a pillar of salt. Sure enough, the strength of the physics department fell into a disadvantage. Greater than. A smile appeared on Woban's face. The pupil of Sodom can only temporarily salt a part of his body to gods and gods, so he usually only uses it as a melee assistant when he fights with others. Of course, it can also be used to hide people, because this trick can increase the eyesight, it is easy to see several kilometers away, and it also has the ability to see through, which can ignore obstacles. There is no upper limit to the ability to salt pillars. If necessary, he can salt all the people in a country's capital without moving. It is very difficult to remove my saltification. Even with the highest level of healing power, it can only be resurrected temporarily. Warban's smile became more smug. So far, to completely remove the salting, unless he stops exercising the power of power, and has the power of destroying evil spirits of the sacred talisman, the absorption of the magic power of Tiankong Yunjian, and the spell of calamity. The gathering of the dead is the only successful case of cracking. Ran was too careless, and actually allowed him to use his tricks. The end is doomed. It really is the power of those eyes. For the sake of you defeating me, I can give some inheritance later. Woban thought to himself, but the next moment, he was dumbfounded. Susanoo, who saw the pillar of salt, suddenly stopped. Good. This place sounded the sound of dying. Woban looked up at the position between the eyebrows of the giant Susanoo. Dying stands in it. Invalid. Woban's eyes were solemn. The ability of this move is good, and the divine power of the oldest king is indeed not low. 22. I used 10% of the resilience, and then barely resisted the salinization erosion. Susanoo's defense is still weak. 11. A little dissatisfied. The Susanang he cast was not made of chakra, but made of natural energy. I didn't expect that Woban's salting power could work. It shows that the defensive power of this move is still flawed. But considering that Terumi Mei's art of mist and Tsunade's fist can wreak havoc on you right now, it doesn't seem too hard to accept. After all, his current opponent is Woban, a smallpox class police officer in Shouton World. His realm is one level higher than him, his strength is a level lower than him, and his power is special. Advertisement. This performance is also considered normal. After all, he didn't use any other means to bless him, he just let Susanoo do his best. Quote. Woban was dumbfounded. Are you sure it's not blowing? At this time, Ran's eyes were deflected and met his line of sight. Woban's heart suddenly clicked. You said it was going to be physically complicated. 0. Ask for flowers. I fulfill you. Uchiha Ran clasped his fists with both hands, his eyes flashing slightly. The giant Susanoo who lost his body drew out the sword of Susanoo, and swung it towards Woban from bottom to top. Just use 20% of the strength. 19. Stab. A golden arc-shaped beach jong-sized sword energy emerged, with fierce sword intent, and fell towards Woban. Warban. Well, you don't have to hide. Boom. The dark clouds and clouds were first split open by the sword energy, and it was as if the sky was split open to the sun. The huge sword chi pressed down on the contrasting Woban like this. He can't escape. Just try to resist. He once again became the body of a devil wolf, and took the initiative to bless the guardian of light. However, the end result was no surprise. After resisting a few breaths, the giant wolf was annihilated into dust. Afterwards, the sword energy was castrated, and it fell towards the top of the brown rice mountain below. Boom. The mountains were chopped into two sides, and the earth shook. Gouda. The people from both worlds watching the battle were stunned. Just this, if it hits them, wouldn't it be cool? 0. And it was just a random blow from Uchiha Ran. What if it was a full blow? What if it was a powerful strike with a special power? Kill the village in one hit. Destroy a country in one hit. No, it's not impossible to cut the planet in half with one blow, just maybe not so random. Advertisement. This is another dimension of power. Luo Hao and others, who knew Woban's strength well, thought of it. And this is by no means the power of the Godslayer. Alien. Luo Hao et al. Divergent thinking. And this time. Roar. Accompanied by a loud noise, a pitch-black weapon suddenly appeared where Woban was annihilated, followed by a 30-meter-long black dragon flying into the air, reaching the same height as Heron. Roar. The black dragon delivered the final blow to Ran. Mayfly shake the tree. Dai shook his head lightly. Woban's current state of the black dragon is the power he usurped from the ancient Mesopotamian earth goddess, Inanna, which can separate the soul from the body and possess immortality. But in front of him, it was just a joke. The giant Susanoo waved forward casually. Pila. At this moment, the sky was completely split. The dark clouds covering hundreds of thousands of square kilometers were cut by a hard comb. Hiss. All sluggish. The ninja world was so shocked by the Dai's strength that it was not enough to come back. And the people of the Godkiller world finally realized that this is not a mirage, nor a holographic image. Could this be an invasion of a higher civilization? For a long time, no one recovered, even if the three-dimensional image disappeared with the disappearance of Woban. And the wise hands of the parties, Tobirama, Uchiha Ran and Woban, have been attacked by their respective worlds. The countdown to the Golden List dialogue continues. Ran looked at the light curtain and said indifferently, "Let you see how small you are. I believe you are willing to hand over the inheritance, right? Warban. What if I refuse?" Warban wanted a head iron. "It's being crushed. It's too much of a loss. No, you will not refuse." 93. Dai eyes jump. But before he could speak, a melodious voice sounded in Woban. He turned abruptly. Luo Hao. People. Chapter 176 Hashirama. I just play, I won't fight with you. Marquis of Woban is really fragrant series. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Why are you here? Woban's green pupils shrank, and there was a wolf in his eyes. Your condition is good, it seems that after exiting that special space, your body can recover. 9. Luo Hao gently fanned the fan in his hand and said to himself. Woban's slightly pale face suddenly darkened. He knew he was completely dead. But there are not many people in this world who know his identity, and those who do know will never dare to talk about the Demon King, and things that they can't bear will happen. He failed only because the Dai was too strong, not because he was weak. But among everyone, only the 5 god slayers other than him would not care about this. And the last thing he wanted to see was this old enemy Luo Yang. That's right, I'm fine, do you want to fight now? Woban said aggressively. You make your concubine completely uninteresting for the time being. Luo Hao ignored Woban, focused his eyes on the light curtain, and looked at the Dai in it, with a bright smile on his face. Hello, strong man, you can tell me or you me your name. 22. If it's the king of martial arts, just call me Ran. Ran Ruya smiled. This kind of smile, if other men treat him, Luo Hao who feels disgusted and wants to destroy it. She considers herself noble, and even the air is 280, and only one person breathes above Mount Lu. The mere man actually showed him a crazy smile. However, she was very happy when this man could easily kill Woban's infection. Ran, can you tell my concubine where you are now? Luo Hao asked with a smile. This was a face that Dai had never seen before. Could it be that my charm has improved faster than my strength? Ran thought helplessly. The appearance is higher than the strength, that is a sin. What if he encounters some witch who robs him? I'm not in the world of god slayers, you can't find me, king of martial arts. Ran smiled. The world of the godslayer isn't there. With a soft murmur, Luo Hao's eyes flashed a hint of enlightenment. What do you mean? The world where the concubine lives is called the world of gods, which is also appropriate, and you are from another world. Exactly. Ran nodded. Luo Hao, who has learned martial arts and alchemy to the top, is the only one who relies on pure force to slaughter the godless god and become a god killer. He is called a demon, and some of his powers are related to Buddha, so he naturally knows Yi. The theory of one Bodhi, one flower and one world, 3 pots of large, medium and small worlds. Sure enough, Luo Hao was stunned. If it hadn't come from Otherworld, she couldn't have sensed it. And she can crush Woban's strength, she can't see it until now. So, can the concubine go to your world? Luo Hao asked curiously. She was curious about how a world like Yoran could be born. Advertisement. Ran probably guessed what she was thinking. But in fact, Otsutsuki Kagaya may not have Luo Haoqiang, and the Otsutsuki mysterious Zong statue may be able to give it a try. The strongest is not the world, but himself. Successfully used the gold list resources. But he didn't explain. That's too time-consuming. For the time being, you can't come to my world. Ran pondered. Unless there are special portals and special props, I can't go to your world, and you can't come to my world. Quote. As for me and Gangrao and the old Marquis, it is in a special space, not in any world, but can be connected to any world. As that's so, Luo Hao was slightly frustrated. Ran smiled at this moment and said, but if the old Marquis is willing, I can come here for a while, or even stay for a long time. Oh, Luo Hao's beautiful eyes lit up. She thought it was a good thing and could chat about it. You agree, Luo Hao said to Woban. Warban, angry. Warban was directly angry. What's going on with this dog couple? Obviously it was him and the wise hand Tobirama's inheritance issue to discuss the world. Why do you 2 dogs and men chat over the host and the host? And this Dai actually wanted to come to his own world. Just kidding, thinking that he has been abused, and he can still speak well after being killed so many times. Anyway, if you can't come to my world, I will ignore you. Let you, isn't that a sword that was thrown over the head? I'm not stupid. No negotiation. No way. I don't agree. I refuse to inherit this time, and I even said that I will give you the permission to come here for a short time. Woban refused very decisively. Decisively, Luo Hao and Ran were a little surprised. Fifth generation. Tobarama stared at the Dai. FK, this is his inheritance. It's true that Woban Zai Ran is a vulnerable younger brother. But in front of him is an absolute powerhouse. Whether it is comparable to the physique of the god slayers of the Otsutsuki clan. A giant wolf form capable of being as large as a tailed beast, summoning beast. Advertisement. In a sense, it is not inferior to White Eye and Sharingan's pupil technique. Or in the body, the soul can still be immortal and turn into a black dragon. Either one he was jealous. These are for him, if they are combined with a forbidden technique. Is it still taking off? Even if Uchiha Madara is about to enter the top stage of 6 paths, he will not be afraid. Izuna is a younger brother. Don't worry. Ran didn't say anything, but gave Tobarama a look. At this time, Luo Hao kept a fan in his hand. As the leader of the martial arts alliance, he kept rising, and said indifferently, Woban, do you want to fight against your concubine in advance? What? The naked eye can see that this area has turned into flowers and plants, and trees are rising. Wood style. Washo Hashirama stepped forward curiously. People in the ninja world who followed the progress through the Jinbang live broadcast room were also curious. First generation, you can touch porcelain. Ranzhao Shao Hashirama glanced and explained. This woman is named Luo Hao. She is one of the strongest people in the world on the opposite side, and the class between you and Wo is just like your relationship with Madara before, but he has a distinguished status, is the leader of the Kyushu Martial Arts Alliance, and has jurisdiction over 5 countries. Because of the battle between Kagaya and the Sage of Six Paths brothers, the land sank a lot, and the total area is considered to be similar to the subcontinent. Its power of fragrant herbs and dazzling flowers is the power that was usurped by defeating the god of wood, Tai Sui Shing-kun. The nature of the landscape, a little bit of the world, can cover the entire Kyushu, and the restoration of these landforms will take at least half a year. After finishing speaking, Ran looked at the light curtain and admired Luo Hao. That Hanfu suit brought back a lot of memories. The meatball head is the same as Tian, but it is a fowl with an extremely cute expression. And this foul face can't be wrapped in conservative Hanfu, but it highlights the career line, which really makes people want to commit a crime. The words of the Ran, but set off a storm in the ninja world. This lovely woman who looks harmless to humans and animals is actually so powerful. Can sweep the flowers and trees of the entire Kyushu, doesn't that mean sweeping the entire ninja continent? The most important thing is to maintain at least half a year and fade away, which completely changes the landscape. It should be noted that Hashirama does not apply Sage Jutsu Chara's wood style, nor can it remain for that long, and it will disappear in less than a month at most. Sunagakur seriously hoped that Luo Hao would give them a shot. But when it comes to cuteness, Icarus and Feiju, who seem to be dyed, are both super cute and powerful. So, cute is synonymous with power. When Gaisho Hashirama heard Ran's words, he was surprised. The relationship between me and Madara, so this one named Luo Hao is a little better than Woban. Everyone, is your focus so clear? Holy mom, I can't take it anymore. As soon as Madara used the flame fan, he said angrily, go out, fight now, you will be the loser. Hey, I just don't fight, I just play. Difficult hand Hashirama grinned and refused. If you don't fight, you will always be the loser you used to be. 33. Advertisement. If you have won, you will shoot in front of the die. Saying that, jumping to the other side of the die with Hashirama, asking ahead to discharge Madara. All, you have a good mind at this time. Madara was furious. However, Ran was too lazy to pay attention to the pair of friends, and his attention was still on the gold list. The battle is the battle. Is this old man still afraid of you? Warban's eyes shone brightly, and the sky was suddenly covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder, and violent storms swept in. All of them are big men who change the sky. Luo Haosho raised her hand slightly, hooked Feifeng 12 divine palms, and was about to start. But before she could act, Ran's voice passed from the golden list. Woban, you have to reject this inheritance. That's right. Ban nodded. He, Sasha Dajensdal Woban, spoke with spittle and nails, impossible to change. Your dying strength is strong, but you can't come to the 1.5 world of our world. I'm not afraid. As for the future, let's talk about the future. Woban, words count. I see. Rankai frowned and said regretfully, originally, I wanted to borrow a few items from someone, and I could use the golden-horned and silver-horned bull demon king in Kyushu mythology, and Susanoo in the Japanese island culture. Male, Fairy Kagaya waited to be summoned from the god of insubordination. It seems that there is no chance to know. Warban, holy crap, you should have said it earlier with these good things. At this time, Ran sighed again. In the original win-win situation, you have to be the first iron. You may not know that the golden list will give the world door from time to time, but it can also be a door through a certain world. At present, I have mastered the world gate of 2 worlds. Next time I get it, I'll try the world of the gods. Woban, who didn't know the world gate was a random selection of worlds, was dumbfounded. Didn't you say something like this before? Humph. Woe restrained his power, squeezed out a smile and said, this old man was just joking when he fell in love. Mr. Ran once took it seriously. Woban, likes the god of rebellion the most. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. All. You speak, it really counts. Chapter 177 won the Monkey King but didn't become a godslayer. Ran is on the list again. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Old Marquis, your face is really thick. Having lived for more than 300 years, has it grown on your face? Luo Hao couldn't help but sneer. Woban's face burst into tears. But think about the threat of contamination. No, it's not a threat. How could he, the king of wolves, be afraid of that kind of thing? In order to obtain those items that can summon the god of disobedience, he surrendered and agreed. I will endure. Directly ignoring Luo Hao, the old Marquis said to the light curtain, Mr. Ran, what do you think of a token in exchange for a power? One-on-one, fair and just. Don't I have to pay the hook fee just now? Ran asked slightly threateningly. Godslayer's body, allow you and Tobirama to come to my world, do you think it's okay? Woban asked a little aggrieved. I let you know what a real powerhouse is. Ran emphasized the value of doing it yourself. In Woban's mind, there is a saying that a mother sells a batch. You tortured me and killed me in front of two worlds who do not know how many billions. Rolling of red fruit. Do you know that the old man is dead? Are you still taking credit? But form is stronger than man. I can give the power of wolves to the wolf pack, and the others have to be exchanged. Woban said firmly. Okay. Ran responded in place of wisdom Tobirama. The ability of the Marquis to listen to Tobirama is not for everyone. The cage of the servant of death is similar to rebirth from paddy soil. Although it is more controllable, it is lacking in spiritual wisdom. If it is taken for nothing, it is not bad. The sacrament of blood has the same powers, awakening their killing instinct to seek blood. It strengthens the body of the target and acquires monster-like fighting abilities, turning it into a slaughtering ghost that only relies on instinct to attack surrounding creatures. However, as long as you have a strong mental power, you can control this power. This is a ferocious power that can kill hundreds of thousands of troops to each other with the sacrifice of only one sheep. This ability is not suitable for the listener Tobirama. Woban should have not obtained the power of the Wolf of Ragnarok. The mantra he recited was quite powerful, and it was Baphomet, the evil god of the dark demons worshipped by the Marquis of Woban from the Templars. The power to usurp is to forcibly take knowledge and skills from magicians, engrave words on paper, and store them in spell books. This spell book uses magic according to Woban's instructions, and it can also be suspended in the air as a huge black leather book. In the new world, Woban has made great efforts to improve the use, no longer needing to order to turn the page, but has become a wizard named Magic Book. A familiar in the form of a girl. Advertisement. Knowing this, Ran can instruct Tobirama, the smart hand, to turn the seal scroll into a similar familiar, and then simply inherit the guardian spirit of the stone tablet. Not perfect. Therefore, if you analyze it like this, the difficult Tobirama only needs 6 powers: cutting the calamity of fate, chanting the mantra, turbulent wind, Sodom's eye, black dragon of the underworld, and criminal of karma. Among them, the judge of the fire of karma is also the annihilation power of the fire of calamity usurped by the god of fire in the Kyushu mythology of the Marquis of Woban. It can drop the flame of condemnation from the sky that even gods can burn to death. The fire of calamity in hell turns the surrounding area into scorched earth. The diameter of the burning is about 20 kilometers, and it can continue to burn for 7 days and 7 nights if left alone. This Hokage is minimal, but also covers the entire city. At least stronger than Super Shinra Tianjung and Tianyi Zhengxing. But this refers to Uchiha Madara casting. If it is replaced with Dai, it will not be a problem to bring meteorite natural disaster to the ninja world. Amaterasu. 99. Tsukuyomi. Susanoo. Izanagi. Izanami. The Orochi. Ran took the Hook 6 scrolls and handed them all to Tobirama, the smart hand. Among the 6 scrolls, the sub-police seals the Amaterasu flames and Tsukuyomi from Uchiha Itachi, the use of Susanoo's pupils, and the methods of using the 2 pupils of Izanagi and Izanami. Rubbing addition. The last thing is to get the body part of the Orochimaru from Orochimaru. These serve as a medium, enough to call the hook in the Godslayer to correspond to the god of disobedience. As for the golden horns, silver horns, bull demon king, etc. that were just sewed on the mouth, you should give 6 paths ninja gear to go around. Not to mention that it is impossible for him to give the 6 paths ninja gear to Tobirama, even if there is a police way, he will not do it, because the power of the gods in Kyushu, there is no accident, will never be delivered. If it is the god of Hajime, give it whatever you want. And even so, he didn't give the best. In island mythology, apart from the birth of Kagaya and bamboo representing purity and heaven, the 3 gods of good fortune have the highest status. God Emperor produces spiritual god. After this, Izanagi and Izanami. These 2 voices created the gods, the most outstanding of which were the 3 gods, namely Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susa. After that, there are 5 other gods. If the blood follows the power of the snares, Woban is very likely to summon the 3 gods of hook creation. After all, the gods of Hajime are all false gods, and the police are low. But he didn't want to give it either. The 5 gods are too hot, and he can't help if he doesn't have enough hands. So a compromise was made. Hearing Ran's words, Luo Hao looked at Ran deeply. Did this fellow from Otherworld give the Otherworld's Day Island a pot? Advertisement. Make a deal. 99. Woban didn't really care about where the gods came from, as long as he could summon the god of disobedience and add power to himself. He is very clear about the rules and guarantees of the Jinbang transaction, and he initiated it on his own initiative. Transaction complete. The transaction book was quickly set. Rough Hand Tobarama gets Woban's godkiller physique, 7 powers, and travels to the world of Godslayer until the negotiation time ends. And Vorban obtains 6 items from Tobarama, who could summon the god of recklessness. The process is endorsed by Jinbang. Very smooth. What? Jinbang said that the moment the transaction was completed, the 2 spaces Uzumaki hooked up. Ran also got the opportunity to accompany the tour, just like that time he accompanied Jiraiya to the world of Otherworld life from zero. The portal to the Otherworld. Luo Hao and Woban looked at the emerging space Uzumaki curiously. They felt that there was a repulsive force on it, and they would never succeed if they tried to force it. At this time, 2 figures appeared. Accept the legacy. Wisdom Hand Tobarama resolutely accepts the inheritance. At least on the same level as Woban in terms of ability and physicality. No, with some ninjutsu and esoteric techniques, he might be stronger in general. It's okay to get stronger. Ran glanced at Woban, but didn't do anything, turned to look at Luo Hao, and said with a smile, Luo Hao, are you interested in taking a tour of the Netherworld corridor of Ri Island? You want to take down Sun Wukong? Luo Meng's eyes lit up. Exactly. Ran nodded. Is 3 minutes enough? Luo Hao asked curiously. Ran glanced at Xiao Woban again and asked, what do you think? Luo Hao opened his fan and smiled lightly. Enough. Warban. After a minute. Poison. Under the huge shock wave, Radao was directly sunk by half. The magic ape rose up from the sky, 2 brown rice long. Advertisement. The 5 senses cannot be controlled because of the particularity of the god who does not obey. After all, in terms of consciousness, the god of disobedience is the god in the myth. And Sun Wukong, to say the least, is also a golden immortal. 283 inches. Ran's eyes condensed, and he opened his right eye. Then turn it into my power. What? Sun Wukong's body began to collapse. Countless power poured into the dyed body, followed by the influx of information on several magic spells. Fiery eyes. Law heaven and earth. Not the power, but the method of learning. Because I'm not from this world, I can't be a godslayer. But killing the god of disobedience and obtaining rewards is the core of the world. I'm taking advantage of it. Dai Lu Hook bright smile. The existence of the god killer, if you want to understand it, is that he was originally a person who controlled himself, but after trying to kill the god of disobedience, he arbitrarily obtained the same power, and his body became the body of a demon king, almost immortal, and immortal. However, when exercising power, it is not like an arm and a finger, but a kind of feeling that the brain leaves the body becomes a computer, and the brain commands the computer character to hit some. Therefore, Tianbon spent hundreds of years to reduce the word spirit as much as possible. And Luo Hao simply relies on martial arts and magic. This time, Ran has obtained the same innate ability and the same magical cultivation method. However, for this magical power cultivation, he needs to start from scratch. Law heaven and earth. If I temper my body in place, will it not be stronger than any supreme Dharma body, Dharma form, or even a spiritual body? Self is the root. 93. Dai realizes that he has something to do. Afterwards, he drank a cup of tea with Luo Hao, left a word, Ran. On his wrist, Ran found Gaisho Tobiramag and returned to the ninja world together. Boom. The bell of Jinbang rang at this moment. The person on the list is Dai. Ran-kun is on the list again. The 6 Paths Ninja Gear has been played. What is this time? Chapter 178 2 Intermediate Draws. Is this talent reward serious? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Above the sky, before the golden list. With a wave of Ran's hand, a huge tea kettle was summoned. A bunch of question marks appeared on everyone's head. They have never heard of this. Only the White Snake Immortal, Katsuyu Immortal, Brother Otsutsuki Hagoromo and others thought a little bit. At this time, the image turned into a streamer and shot into the gold list, and the specific ranking information appeared. No. 11. Sealing kettle composed of lid and spiritual pivot, similar in appearance to a tea cauldron, which can be biologically sealed. Owner. Died. This item obtained by dying comes from Otsutsuki Aikishi. Shuhei. When I saw this tea cauldron, I had a familiar feeling. The seal of the Sand Shinobi Temple was based on this thing. Quote. Open black lens bracket Yuki. Don't put gold on your face. Rock Shinobi Village left the amber bottle and then reluctantly sealed me. Seal you can use a better ninja than the amber bottle. Close black lens bracket. Shuhei. Presumptuous, you thief who is Kurama's younger brother, you dare to speak of me. Quote. Open black lens bracket Yuki. The summoning beasts are on the list, but you still dare to show it. Kurama, don't you say anything. Shuhei. If he wants face, he won't speak. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yuki. At Uzumaki Naruto. At Namikazemianma. You two don't talk. Open black lens bracket Uzumaki Naruto. Kurama, what does it have to do with me Uzumaki Naruto? Close corner bracket. Open black lens bracket Namikaze Myanmar. Yes, Kurama, what does it have to do with me Namikaze Myanmar? Close black lens bracket. Opening parenthesis : closing parenthesis. Otsutsuki Hagoromo. I felt the power of 10 tails on this tea kettle, which is of the same origin as the flame fan but contains more chara crystals. Quote. Bai Ling. Indeed, I also feel it. It is similar to the box of bliss that you used to use the source of the divine tree for a long time. Quote. Open black lens bracket Katsuyu. If I guess right, this thing should come from the Otsutsuki clan. Quote. Otsutsuki Kagaya. Yes, this thing is a weapon brought by itself, and 10 tails will be sealed even if it is not a complete body. Close black lens bracket. It's all right now. It turned out to be a weapon of the Otsutsuki clan brought by Otsutsuki. Advertisement. So, Otsutsuki style has been destroyed by Uchiha Ran. Also, with Ran's current strength, killing a Otsutsuki clan that was far from its peak state was naturally effortless, and it was a matter of course to inherit the opponent's weapons by the way. And with Dai's current strength, it is not surprising to kill Otsutsuki's soul. Otherwise, the other party will not speak on the gold list until now. Open black lens bracket 4th generation I. Understood, so it seems that some rankings that we can't guess belong to 5th Hokage. Open black lens bracket Killer B. Oh, empty Yalu, big brother, I didn't expect you to be smart back. Quote. Open black lens bracket Wisdom Tobarama. Alas, even though you have the celestial phenomena, it is still nothing in front of 5th generation. Quote. Terrible, you are the Versailles Bensai, right? The earth cleaning level strength that changed the sky on a large scale was the 2nd or even 3rd level of the 6 paths level. It is estimated that Madara and the big pillar are not as strong as you, still not satisfied. Brother, you are easily beaten like this. Hand Hashirama couldn't help complaining, his heart was sour. He is the dignified god of ninja world, and now he has been surpassed by so many people. People who have always been Versailles, actually looked at the policeman Versailles. Uncomfortable, but the worst is yet to come. There are very few who can hit me now. Feeling the surging power of God and physical strength in his body, Tobarama shook the lead and said to himself, Big brother and Madara, why don't you help me get acquainted with my current strength? Wisdom Hashirama and Uchiha Madara looked at each other and chose not to hear. Just kidding, although they can all drive Gundam, can wood-style wooden golem. However, after Tobarama inherited the strength of Woban, at least he mastered the pupil technique that could salt Uchiha Ran's complete body, Susanoo. Uchiha Ran can resist by his own strength, that is hard power. They can't. I want to find a way to get on the list, preferably to get the inheritance of that Luo Hao. Hashirama silently set small goals for himself. Advertisement. Uchiha Madara is thinking of acquiring a 10 tails, as soon as possible to have the top strength of the 6 paths level, and even the strength of the blood following the net. Floor washing level. The old man crushes you with the star power. Cough. That's cool. Seeing that Uchiha Madara and Kansho Hashirama did not speak, Tobarama felt an unprecedented refreshing feeling. And the hook of this scene has stimulated everyone in the ninja world. What is one step to the sky? This is Gold List, YYDS. Weapon List Reward. Rui size, enhanced sealing power, conceal blood and follow the snare level, with refining function, can refine any creature into the source, such as Charlie Layden, Dochi Dan, etc. Lister Reward. Intermediate Wanji Draw X2. Uchiha Ran's eyes lit up when the reward information for the list was updated. The evolution of the sealing cauldron itself satisfied him. The original sealing cauldron was only capable of sealing Naruto and Little 10 Tails at their peak strength, as well as Sishion in the wedge state, which was capable of sealing ordinary 6 paths. Now it has risen a big step, to the extent that even the people of Otsutsuki can seal it. And it can also be refined into Dan. The power of the Otsutsuki clan comes from the fruit, and if the fruit is scattered, it is a pill. And the Dan that the sealing kettle can refine is not just Zara. This can greatly increase his means of improving himself and his subordinates. Look at Madara and Azuzi, they will probably be greedy. Even Kagaya. Ran smiled secretly in her heart, her eyes swept around, and she saw the excitement in Madara's Samsara eyes. That's a great way to get yourself to the 3rd stage of the 6 paths level quickly. Receive. With a thought of dyeing his heart, he took the advanced sealing cauldron to the size of the palm of his hand, and then stuffed it into the Hogyoku space between his eyebrows. Advertisement. Ask one of the two, maybe it can help. Next, let's draw a lottery first. 2 intermediate draws cannot be merged into a high-level draw. Although it was a pity, the dyeing started straight away. What? Good money. The first testimonial stops in the talent bloodline column. Dai showed an interested look. Any talent bloodline can enhance its own heritage. As long as it is well developed, it will eventually point to a certain magical power or even a law. Continue. Dai the opening. The dial information has changed. 1. Shinigami Aura, Shinigami Elementary School World. 2. Forced Halo, Ninja World. 3. Orphan Halo, from a Lu Orphanage. 4. Double Standard Halo, Soul Ring World. 5. Vision Halo, Low Profile Covering Heaven World. 6. Wang Chi Halo, A Fantasy World. 7. Face Slap Halo, The Return of a God of War. 8. The Halo of Wisdom. 9. Alchemy Talent, Low with Hongwang Taiching Laozi. 10. one pillar defying the sky, Gao Wu Zhong Sanfang. Die. Te Miao, is one of your talents serious? Chapter 179 Terumi Mei is sour. Dying. It's all Tsunade's fault. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What is FK? Are you sure I won't win the special intermediate Myriad Realms lottery? Good guy. Really good guy. Looking at the information displayed on the turntable, Uchiha Ran struggled to control his desire to complain, and still roared wildly in his heart. The reward talent obtained by the intermediate level Wanji lottery is this. Could it be that he was too addicted to Tsunade recently, so he was infected with the ultimate African chief physique? The first talent, Shinigami Aura. You said that if the Shinigami Halo of the Shinigami world, or the Shinigami Halo of the Death Note can still be understood, it can be imagined as a kind of murder. But what the hell is the Shinigami Elementary School world? Who dares to ask for the talent of that Super K schoolboy Shukudo Shinichi? Where do you go? Where do you die? Imagine Konoha dying every few days, as Hokage do nothing but solve the case and find the murderer. For example, little Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke performed a mission together, only to find that Sasuke died unexpectedly. After investigation, it was found that the murderer was Naruto disguised as little Sakura. The reason for the murder was not for little Sakura, but because of love. Dai shivered. This is absolutely impossible. Then the second talent. Pretend to Halo. If it's Sakamoto and Kaichi Mu Kusuo, it's fine, but it's actually from the ninja world, isn't that just the pretense of Urzuzi? This is not so much coercion, as it is to pretend to be coercive and be slapped in the face. The sky is clear, the rain has stopped, Urzuzi thinks he can do it, this is no joke. Don't do this. Then look at the third talent, Orphan Halo. Parents sacrifice to heaven, the mana is boundless. He doesn't have parents to worship God. Or, can you kill the people around you? This talent, as a transmigrator, probably already possessed. Pull it down. Proceed to the next one. Double Standard Halo. Soul Ring 283 World. The corners of his mouth twitched. That Dawn Invincible Double Standard 3 is one of his most hated protagonists. The existence of the Spirit Hall is a mistake, and the spirit beasts he kills are all evil. Disgusting braggy. Don't get around. Continue to the next one. The Vision Halo, from the low-profile world of Shading the Sky. Low-profile shade. The Emperor stepped 10 meters. So scary. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Advertisement. The Vision Halo is probably the lowest level of sitting, but it is enveloped by holy light and surrounded by various visions. Take a sip of water and have an epiphany. Walk one step by step to grow lotus. Pull out the long sword, the dragon and the phoenix sing. It's so scary, thinking about embarrassing cancer has turned over. But it is much better than the previous four, and it is good to understand it is a special effect. As long as you can actively control it, you can accept it. Proceed to the next one. Hopeful Halo. Call. Dai breathed a sigh of relief. It's not easy, it's finally a normal talent. This halo of chi, which comes from a certain fantasy world, should be able to see the different chi fortunes of objects and humans, to be able to foresee, detect leaks, form a good relationship with the strong in advance, and know all kinds of secrets, loopholes and so on. This is a good auxiliary talent. If you can go to other worlds in the future, you will be able to find many good things in this way. Look at the next one. Face slap. A certain victory came back to the world. Dai shivered. He didn't want to be surrounded by people who were hostile to him, and he didn't want people around him to exist just to slap him in the face, it felt too weird. It's really hard to understand how the protagonists who are either slapped in the face or on the road can stand a life where everyone is questioning, they are hostile, and they all like to make trouble. He Uchiha Ran, admired by all people, loved by all people, isn't he fragrant? Next. Wisdom Halo. Terrible so, but it's actually a good ability. Not afraid of godlike opponents, but afraid of pig-like teammates. On the other hand, it doesn't matter if you are not super god, the opponent has a pig teammate and you will win. And this halo of wisdom, with the special effect of mysterious and mysterious let the other party faint. It would be nice if you could take the initiative to turn on the control. Otherwise, I am afraid that the effect is too strong, and everyone around me will become mentally handicapped. This is reserved. Look at the next one. Alchemy talent. Low match with Hongwang Taiching Laozi. Bright eyes. No matter how it is not the low match with Taiching Laozi, but the low match with Hongwang, these are two changes. If the low match is Taiching Laozi, then any kind of low match is possible, it may even be the martial arts Taiching Laozi, and the alchemy is at the level of Shufu. And the low-ranking flood, that is also the flood, it is the incarnation of Pengu's massacre of the three rough demon gods. As long as this tone remains the same, no matter how low the power system is, at least immortals will definitely exist. Then, Taiching Laozi, who represents one of the most powerful alchemists, can at least maintain his alchemy talent. Advertisement. Isn't that better than Xiao Huahuo and Yao Zun? Moreover, talent is mysterious and mysterious. Taiching Laozi's alchemy talent represents a small circle in one world, and it may also shine in higher worlds. So this is very good, it must be circled to have it. Continue. A pillar of talent, Gao Wu Zhong Sanfang. Uchiha Ran. So is this gold list really serious? As long as there is a martial arts world where Zhong Sanfeng exists, he can basically represent the world's combat power and environmental protection. After all, it is the existence of police officers who practice martial arts and cultivate immortality. And Gao Wu Zhong Sanfeng, in some respects, is estimated to be stronger than Luo Hao. A pillar of optimism in all of this. That is the pure young boy skill that has been accumulated for hundreds or even hundreds of years. Is it normal? Anyway, he Uchiha ran, is not good at. Gold list, ban me 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and then start the lottery. 93. Rand said calmly. The reason why 10 is not excluded is definitely not because of wanting, but because I don't want other talents. That's right, that's it. What? The pointer number is turned up, ADBF. Finally, stop at 5. Aura of vision. Die. All good. Tsunade said that he seems to have improved again, let me help check. 9. I shouldn't be diligent, alas. Rand felt that he was enveloped in the atmosphere of the African Emirates. If you don't have 10, you can give 9. No, there is no 9, you can give 10. Rub, there should be no 9 and 6, even if it is 8, it really can't be 10. 5 is not enough. Dark, it's all your fault. Ron glared at Tsunade. Tsunade, continue to draw. After accepting the vision halo, I found that it was the special effect switch I thought. After Rand silently closed it, I chose to continue the lottery. But before the draw, he held Tsunade in his arms. In this wave, we will fight poison with poison. Tsunade. Jimin is outside, gathering in a large audience, isn't this not a good thing? Surprised, sneered, ambiguous, envious eyes came from all around. Tsunade's pretty face turned red as soon as he was rotten. But she is Sanin Tsunade, can she still have stage fright? Advertisement. Humph. Tsunade gave Terumi Mei a hard look. This daughter's eyes are the most exaggerated. Terumi Mei. You have a great man or what? What? The pointer stops in the inheritance area. Inherited. The corners of the dyed mouth appear curved. Sure enough, he was right. The content on the carousel is updated. 1. Sun Wukong Super Competition, Dragon Ball World. 2. Martial Ancestor Realm, World of Chenkin. 3. Super Dream XY, Spiritual World. 4. Aaron Attack, Ancestor, Warhammer, World of Giants. 5. Song Qingshu 18 Palms of Subduing the Dragon, Ishan World. 6. Yuyutian Broken Void, Sui and Tang Shuanglong World. 7. Square Bottle Sacrifice, Gaowu World. 8. Xianji Yuko, God's Notepad World. 9. My Sakura Island Adolescent Syndrome, Pig's Head World. 10. Ace Day Love, Sister Cut World. Dying eyes suddenly a lot. The name matches the state, and then matches the world. People who don't understand can't understand. But he understood that it represented the period. If you choose 1, the conversation is about Sun Wukong, who just turned on Super Saiyan mode on Namek and killed Frieza. If you choose 2, the conversation is about the martial ancestor who broke through to the ancestral realm, Earth Supreme, just under the sacrifice of the Ice Lord, but there is no master plane embryo. If you select 3, the dialogue is Mewtwo who has already entered the X or Y state with most of the master's own power. If you choose 4, the conversation is with Eren, who has mastered the attack on giants, the ancestor giants, the Warhammer giants, and the 3 kinds of giant powers. 5th, the conversation will be about Song Qingshu, who is married to Jojo Ro, who has just acquired the 18 palms of the Dragon Slayer sword and learned it. 6th, Shang Yutian, this is a person, later generations think that he has no bones left because of the practice of the Dao Heart Seed Demon Dafa, but in fact he has absorbed the essence from the evil Emperor relic, greatly prolonging his life and living. For more than 200 years, he was the first one in the demon sect to successfully cultivate the Dao Shin Seed Demon Dafa. 200 years later, in the Shuanglong biography, period, he became friends with Lu Miaozi and handed the evil Emperor relic to the latter. Hidden in Yonggong's treasure house, loose people, Ning Daoqi is equally famous in the world, and finally, shattered the void, and left. The conversation should be about Amida, who is about to soar. The 7th is the square bottle, the king of the human race, the creator of the second source, the master of the new 3 worlds, the son of destiny, invincible. Daring, adventurous, bragging, super talkative, big flicker, playful, and plug-in Fantong were built with the power of the 3 emperors before their death one day. During the dialogue period, it should be in the final decisive battle of the 3 realms. Hundreds of thousands of warriors from the human race will make sacrifices together to improve the second source of the square bottle, and the 3 realms will fight against the emperor. Why don't you say 89 to ban it? 10th Ace Day, love period. That's probably when he was just attacked by the imperial capital and was about to have a sweet love affair. Sure enough, Dying Heart was determined, and immediately said, Forbidden 4, 5, 8, 9, 6. Start the lottery. Chapter 180 Ace Fernandez. To talk about sweet love in Der Sector. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. While rotation of the pointer, the last stop in the region of 10. It seems that before not too good. Looking for a die stiff. He left behind 5 goals, in the tradition. Super Monkey King a game, can defeat Frieza, naturally, can do the planet a break, after all, it is to fly Raytheon had moved a finger, off the Saiyan planet. This is also very strong in the off-star, exist. Although Dai think with his current strength, and the two can do the wrist, and rely on a number of means to win, but that does not mean he is not envious of the Monkey King's heritage. Others do not want anything, just S cells, can make him greedy bad. After all, this is the key to transform S cell morphology, and once every shape can increase the combat power surge, like those occult fantasy world in general. And this change means forms, can also be used to add on the body. All in all, very powerful but also very practical. This is his first target. And without this, Wu Zu is good. Things around the world and the sky world, dominated by the disaster are subordinate planes under world-class senior police regarded in the world. The combat power granite days are good, and the cycle in which the Bucket Emperor Border Police Division corresponds supreme territory. 3-turn reincarnation territory, there are 7 items to 9 supreme strength. As for ancestral territory, the course of events in the world itself has never been born, the year of the Lord and different magic Wangfu or big rough world to come, all belong to the supreme level of quasi-days, all in order to get plane's embryo promotion. But the main character relatively decent, seeing things are impossible, they sacrifice themselves for the big world around Aboriginal Seal exclusive Magic King. Later, the brothers move directly through the triple reincarnation robbery, also received 8 ancestral character to help in the design of the main ice, the ice that can withstand the main sacrifice, to break through to the ancestral territory, the supreme. Just break the seal of the Emperor certainly play no different magic strength, combined with the strength to suppress world, following the dynamic brothers can compete. Even so, it almost overturned the gutter. Master planes until the embryo, would be present in the brothers' movable hook comparable to the outbreak of extreme days power, varies magic Wong is further pressed, so cool. So exactly equal to the supreme ancestral territory. For dying, this is the opportunity to step in becoming an immortal. Unfortunately, there is no middle. As for several other, each pulling hard. Advertisement. But Ace Fernandez bottom, even if he claims to be able to master the whole time and space to freeze all, Maha Bol Timo. 0. But in fact, evil-ridden adaptability to the environment after the temporal and spatial evolution can be overcome freezing effect. This strength is the washing stage. Worth mentioning, you might be able to say there is an unexpected live. Dai had to console himself. And in his dreams, Gold began to link the two worlds. At the same time, Chopped sister in the world. Northern Empire. Wearing a white military uniform and wearing cap, sporting a blue knee-length long hair Ace in day alone Junjong to hand off the cap aside, blue eyes tired of the color emerges. If someone saw this scene, I will be shocked. This is Ace Fernandez, fighting madman, simply to invade Bourne, you will actually feel tired. In fact, Ace Fernandez is not because of the fighting and war since long and weary. This is for her, is a game. She's tired, from the spiritual joy monotonous. She wanted to experience a different feeling. For example, for a sweet love. If the little emperor or the minister asked me what reward you want, I want to express love. Ace Fernandez serious thought. Minister Wen Chen brought together a lot of planning counselors said to be at least 1 year following the pacification of the North Alien, she used it to get all the time in March. To little reward, but sub it. Yes, the conditions required of a change. I wish I had the other side, in the case pleasing to the eye to see, then I am strong. But it is simply impossible to achieve. In order to have a sweet love. I can only change required. Ace Modesto incense legs, secretly thinking. She did not think that in this world there who her opponent. Advertisement. Imperial Gundam, Minister, or other emperors. Singled out, she's not false to anyone. Even if the requirements are lowered, there must be a bottom line. 99. First, no matter what, the most important thing is to pay attention to the possibility of the future, and hope that the other party can train himself with the goal of becoming a general level figure. This condition cannot be changed. Second, you have to have the courage, even if you are empty-handed, you must be able to hunt dangerous species with me. Third, like me, you must grow up not in the imperial capital, but in the frontier areas. Fourth, then you have to be younger than me, because it is easier to be dominated by me. Maybe, it would be very good to be able to train as an opponent. Finally, and most importantly, it's better to have someone with a pure smile. Ace Des revealed a smile. Since you can't accompany the strong, then have a sweetheart you like, be handsome and not trash. At this moment, a golden light curtain suddenly appeared. Ace Des's eyes narrowed. What interesting Tegu power. 0. Ask for flowers. Ace Day flashed an idea in his mind, raised his hand and was ready to do it. But before she could freeze the light curtain with ice, a light shot hooked from above. What's this? Ace Day pupils shrank. With her fearless strength, she actually felt an irresistible power in the light spot. Time and space seemed for a moment to be static for eternity. But her thinking continued, and she watched as the light spot disappeared between her brows. The next moment, the body returned to freedom. Information emerges. When it was all digested, Acid's blue eyes became extremely bright. Gold list. The winners will draw a lottery and get the chance to inherit. Advertisement. To talk to me, I agree that he can continue to inherit the heavens and the worlds. Interesting. There should always be a strong person who will fight with me. Ace Day was very interested, and without any hesitation, chose to connect to the gold list. Gold list tip. World link starts. Closing square bracket. After a series of familiar beeps. Sounds emerged from the two light curtains at the same time. Ran saw Ace Day, the heroic royal sister Ace Day, who was sitting smartly holding a wine glass, with long azure hair. And Ace Day also saw a smile on his face. Handsome. Nice smile. Ace Day had a strange blush on his cheeks, and he covered his mouth with his hands and said, "Little brother, do you want to have a sweet love?" 99. Ace Day is not happy. When Jinbang gives information, it will also show its information within the allowable scope of dying. Just like giving your boss a resume, accepting the inheritor and the inheritor sending their own information. It's just that the information must be true, and of course it can be concealed. In the image received by Ace Day, Ran has abilities such as Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Complete Body Susanoo, Flying Thunder God's Technique, etc. The overall strength is quasi-six paths strength, and it is also the level of washing the ground. These abilities are followed by remarks and video descriptions, all received by Ace Day instantly. It is equivalent to saying that Ace Day DOS knows the strength of dying, probably the level of power that Madara can display when he ends the battle of killing. Ace Day does not consider himself weaker than such a die. But this kind of dying, doesn't it just meet the 5 conditions for her new desire to lie down? It is simply a love object bestowed by God. Quote. It was Uchiha Ran's big heart, and he was stunned for a moment by Acid's sudden confession. And a bunch of question marks appeared on the heads of everyone in the ninja world. Ah, are you sure it's a strong man? People,